Hello, everybody. I am a bear at Travel Marketeer Camp. Anybody else doing a onesie today? Maybe? Ah. Anyway, welcome back I just lost some of my notes there. As you guys join in for day two of Travel Marketeer Camp. I had so much fun yesterday. Thank you guys for joining. You know what? When you do something for the first time, you have no idea. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be fun? For me, it was both. I was just really, really excited to come back and do day two, which is really where we're going to roll up our fur. Let's see, and get the party going and work on some good marketeering. Sorry, travel marketeering. So I don't know how long the onesie's going to stay on because I'm gonna admit it's probably flammable and it's also getting a little warm. So anyway, if you are in a onesie, shout out what you are wearing, or if you thought about wearing a onesie, maybe you don't even own one. Drop it in the chat what you would have worn. How about that? I love that. Again, if we ever do this as a retreat, again on the beach, we talked about that yesterday in Charleston. I don't know. We're riffing here. Maybe that happens, right? We would have a onesie day. I feel like we would have a onesie day. All right. So happy that you're here yesterday. So you might not have been here yesterday, and you watched the recording. So glad that you did. Yeah, if you haven't watched the recording, we talked about really building your brand. And I thought we did a lot of deep work and kicked around a lot of deep thoughts around your brand. And we asked some good questions. I saw some good TMs out there on different things, and I hope that you had some time to percolate on some of those questions that I asked you. And today we're going to carry that over. We're going to get started with really brainstorming around brand and whether it's you're starting your brand from scratch or you're working on a campaign. I'm going to take you through some of the things that I do. I figured we can create a travel agency for me, and we can just build the brand from scratch. And I'll show you some of the tools that I use. And obviously, I'll meander a bit. That's going to happen. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna work in Canva. I'm going to show you a tool that I use for helping me get creative when it comes to fonts, and also with colors. So I will say that I think I said this yesterday. I am not a trained designer. I had to learn how to be a designer through the years, and now I lead teams of designers and work with different freelance partners. So I can give you some tips on how I work with our design team or freelancers, which can help you either formulate your ideas or to better communicate what you're looking for from partners that you might be reaching out to. Even if you use our design studio, that's what I'll talk to you about today will apply to that. But it also maybe will get your wheels a turning. So always hoping for that. And then we're going to go into we're gonna do a little website optimization. So I'm gonna pop over to sites and I'm gonna show you a site that has already been built, and I'm gonna show you the number one thing that I do anytime I work on any website. And when I worked at an agency, we charge thousands of dollars for something that you can do in an afternoon. How's that for a big promise? So we're gonna do that. We'll pop over to, I do have this all mapped out. I've got my screens all prepared here, but I am struggling here this moment. We're also going to pop into Email Plus. So I'm going to show you how I approach a newsletter or an email, just a promotional email. So we'll do one really quick and talk about that. So if you have a newsletter that you're doing, then let's talk about it. And the and I'll address those questions when we're working on Email Plus and working on email. It doesn't you don't have to use Email Plus. It's just free, so you should. Sorry, that was a little judgy, wasn't it? Also within Email Plus, the plus is landing pages. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference in your website pages and landing pages, and I'm going to tell you how to build a landing page, or at least how I would approach it. Again, while I'm talking, think about the name of Joshua's travel agency because we need a project to work on. So I need an agency with a backstory, okay? Because we're gonna need that. Then I'm gonna talk about content creation and just kind of go over. I'm going to pull out the Signal What You Sell. I don't know if everybody had a chance to do that course in the passport courses that Erica teaches. But Signal What You Sell is really all about content marketing and being known for travel. So I've got the worksheet for that, how you can build your content plan. And we'll just talk about the content building and planning, talk about social media as it applies to your blog, just have a loose conversation about that. And from there, then I want, before we leave, I might tighten up a few things. But before we leave, I want to dive into the campaign planner. And if you have joined the Travel Marketeering Saturday session where I went through building a marketing campaign, then you're familiar with this tool. But in that session, we didn't really get to dig into why it's an important tool and how I use it. And I use it for all of my teams with all different responsibilities or actions that they're trying to drive within their business. So I'm going to explain to you why I use it, and I'm going to show you how it can spark a lot of ideas. Okay. So I hope you're ready for this. I hope you're ready for day two. Get out your onesie and Carrie Ann, I brought a drink today. I am not going to be parched. I'm going to make it through. And before we dive into branding design, or brand design, let's pop over to the chat and I'm gonna have to pull this off. Whew. Just, you know how they say if you're cold, you need to at least put something on your head because it keeps the heat in. Man, I was just very, very moist there. Okay. All right. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Oh, Cynthia, good to see you. Hello. Danielle, good afternoon. Yahara, hola from South Florida. Yesterday was fun and insightful. I love you, Yahara. You are so positive. David, good morning, all. Maria, hi, everyone. Hi, back at you. Rhonda, thank you for loving the onesie. Uh, Michelle, oh, hi. I can't bear it. I love it. Hello, everyone from Helen, Robin, LOL, so warm. Amanda, good afternoon from Charlotte, North Carolina. And she should have put on her gingerbread onesie. That's what I'm saying. David, it is very toasty. Leslie, sorry, didn't mean to shock you this today. Oh, Shaban, wearing a Darth Vader onesie. How did you know that I love Star Wars? I love it. Yahara does not have a onesie. I think we should do something about that. Leslie, good morning back at you. Rocky, good morning from NC, North Carolina. I don't know why I said NC. I'm in my PJs too. Rocky, I didn't sleep in this, but I will tell you that sometimes it does get cold in Atlanta, and now that I have this onesie, I think I might need to wear it. I, um, I just have to say, I was crushing on my boss, Jason, and I have to say that this was a company purchased onesie. Let's not tell him that. But I needed a prop. So yeah, I when he sees this on my expense report, I don't know, I might need you guys to back me up. If all of a sudden I disappear one day, you know what happened. Uh, Misty said, I actually never go I'm actually never going to wear a onesie. Okay. There's obviously something behind there, and that's okay. You don't have to. Crystal said, I have a shark onesie, but sadly I'm not wearing it. I mean, I thought we were talking about this yesterday, guys. I thought, hey, I thought I'd bring the fun. I've got my tent back here. I got the fire. I thought a bear went with it. Let's see. Let's see. Amanda said, gingerbread onesie. My daughter bought it for Christmas. Love it. Mary said, I have a giraffe onesie, but not wearing it today. LOL. I mean, I feel like we could have been the whole menagerie. Giraffe, gingerbread, shark. I don't know. I think we have it. Jasmine, good afternoon. Catherine, good morning and a TM to you. If you're just joining today for the first time, TM stands for Travel Marketeering, and it's a little way that we say, amen. We do a little TM. Diane said, love the onesie. Hello from I-80. I did get some weird looks at the rest stops in a onesie. I just love you guys. This is wonderful. Connie said, I don't have a onesie and I would have worn my Wonder Woman outfit, but I outgrew it. LOL. You know what? I would love to see that. You know what? I think if you guys are not going to be on camera, and maybe next time we do camp, cameras should be on. But I'm just saying, I think everyone should send pictures of them in whatever their costume is. Let's see. Amanda said, TM, a lot of great ideas. Helen, thank you so much. Cynthia said, I'm sorry, guys, I read faster than I talk, or I talk faster than I read. Cynthia said, I'm in my comfy Sunday clothes. Wow, I work in marketing. I'm sorry. Laura, joining us from the Marriott. So glad that you are enjoying the costume. Ariana, good morning back at you. Rebecca said, in-person camp, day one, superhero costumes, day two, onesies. It has been said, it is now in the record. Rebecca, you have decreed it. It is going to happen. Heather, good morning from Pittsburgh. And Maria is giving Rebecca a good little tea in there. Great idea, Rebecca. Heather said, brown bears and beyond travel. Am I a brown bear or a black bear? I don't know. Let's see. Patrick, warm and fuzzy trips. Warm and fuzzy trips. That's interesting. Brown bears and beyond travel. Okay, we're gonna workshop that. Cynthia said J Glow travel. Oh, Cynthia, I have a story to tell you about the J-Lo glow. I was talking about making makeup kits. Well, one of the kits was all about the J-Lo glow, but she did not endorse it, so we had to get creative with it. Connie said, out of the box trips. I like that. Sissy, good afternoon. Good to see you. Robin, hello from cold New Hampshire. Robin, thanks for adding me on Facebook. Let's see. Maria said, Sparkle Vacations. Oh, you know what? I got a prop here for Sparkle Vacations. I don't know. Rose said, good afternoon from Smyrna, which is just down the road. Julie, my awesome vacation from Ohio. Selena said, good morning from Tennessee. Stacy, hi friends from Woodstock, Georgia there. Let's see. Robin said, where did I get the onesie? I got it on Amazon. You know what? I am lazy. I say, you know what? I need something, and I go to Amazon. Let's see. Stefan, howdy from Morningside, Atlanta. Stefan, good to see you. Stacy, does it have matching fun shoes? Stacy, it does not. I wanted to get them and I was having trouble finding them for size 13 feet. Yep. I have big feet. Yep. That's exactly what it is. Let's see. Robin, thanks for the love on the props. Love it. I love it. I love it. Lori, good morning from warm and sunny Austin. Unfortunately, no onesie here. Too warm. I hear you. Christine, good to see you. Good morning from Texas. And Angel said hi. Let's see. All right, we got underoos talk. We're talking about underoos. We got lots going on here. Um, Oh, Daniela said, you inspired me yesterday. I worked on my website this morning. TM. TM, back at you, Daniela. I love it. I love it. I imagine you removed any reference to we. That seemed to be a big common theme yesterday. Uh, maybe a little bit. Oh, good to see you guys. All right. And Connie said, how about Bigfoot travel? Wow. I, you know what? Let's brainstorm that. And Anna said, "Good morning, rainy California. Watched Simon Sinek video. Thank you. If you missed it yesterday, I recommended that everybody go and watch Simon Sinek's TED Talk around uncovering your why, discovering your why. It is something he created a whole movement around that. I think it's a very powerful talk to listen to. In the field guide, which I worked on the field guide last night based on we did a good job getting through the content. So I think I should be able to get it to you all tonight after we wrap the session and I get everything unpacked. But I will have links to it as well as all the things that I'm talking about today. So you're going to be able to see the URL in my screen, but don't worry about it. If you just want to pay attention, we can you'll get it in the field guide after this. All right. Okay. Are we ready to dig in? Okay. Let's talk about. So yesterday we talked about your brand story, um, coming up with your purpose, coming up with even your mission statement, your brand vision. We talked about your brand personality. I wonder if anybody had any aha moments after the session. I know we had some people during the session yesterday have some aha moments around Carl Jung's 12 personality archetypes and trying to fit your brand into an archetype. So we talked a little bit about that. And there's some more exercises in the field guide that are just going to help you drill down into your story. So again, that will be in the field guide. But today I really wanted to dig into some marketing work around. All right, guys, I'm sorry. Before we get into this, I got to strip. Da 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 da. That is not that exciting, I promise you. But I am burning up. I'm burning up for your love, for your love. This is why I can sit here for 3 hours and talk because I'm used to just entertaining myself there. All right, I hope you found that entertaining. That was today's music break brought to you by Madonna. Sorry. So okay, digging into riffing around the brand and starting to work on design elements. Okay. Now, what I love to do, and many of you would have probably heard me say this before, but I love whenever I'm working on a brand, I love to print things out. I'm old school that way. I like to print things out and create mood boards. Now, you can do those digitally as well. But for me, and this might be your situation too, whenever I go into my computer, I'm not going to say it's not fun, but it really isn't fun because the moment I go into my computer, I am plugged in. I'm getting dinged on Teams, I'm getting emails. I don't know. It's too much, okay? So if I'm trying to sit with something, I need it to be analog. I need to look at printed pieces, okay? So if you are coming up with a brand, if you're building your brand, or if you're maybe evolving your brand, or you're working on a campaign, and that's going to be one of those marketing tactics that has a clear call to action. It's driving something in your business. Remember, branding is the overarching strategy. Marketing are the short-term tactics. Okay. Just, you're going to hear me reinforce that all the time. Outside of camp, I'm going to talk about it a lot because people get it a little flipped around. Um, so if you're doing any of those things, I love, have you ever heard of the term a swipe file? SWIPE, a swipe file. Okay. This is not cheating. Okay. Not cheating. It could be an inbox folder that you've created in Outlook or your email provider, or it could be a folder you have on your desktop. It could be a, a physical folder that you have on your desk. But it is, as you're going through things, whether it's social media, you're looking in a magazine, you're reading an article online, wherever you are, you say, you know what? I like that. I don't know why I like it. I like it. It could be, it could be an advertisement for gutter cleaning. And you're like, gosh, the way those fonts work together, it looked modern for something like gutters. Wow, so impressive, right? And maybe you do a screenshot and you drop it in a folder. Or you're at the hair salon and you're flipping through and you see uh, maybe it's an ad for a fragrance. And what you can tell in this image is that Taylor Swift, I don't know if it's her, Taylor Swift is in Paris, but it's not the Eiffel Tower. I know she's in Paris because of XYZ. I love this colors. I love the colors. It's pastels. I love this, right? Rip that out of that magazine. As long as the salon's not going to get you, it's not going to come after you, and put that in your bag and bring that to your physical swipe file. The idea is that you find inspiration everywhere. You should be open all the time to inspiration and grab that stuff and put it away. You never know when you're going to need it, okay? Or when you're going to want it. And don't count on yourself to remember it because Lord knows there is far too much kicking up around in your cranium that you are going to remember the thing that you saw at the your friend's house 3 months ago. You're just not. So create these swipe files. Again, it's not cheating because you're going to get inspired from things that maybe they are a competitor of yours, or they're even an online travel agency. Oh, no way. I would never get inspired. I'm just saying, you might, right? Um, but it could be something completely random. All right. So just collect those things so when you're ready to get creative or you need inspiration, you've got someplace to go. I don't know about you, but if someone said, be creative right now, um, sometimes I don't feel like it. So that's when a swipe file comes in handy. Another thing that I love about swipe files, and I do this a lot on Instagram in particular, outside of TikTok, I do love TikTok. But Instagram is where I would spend the majority of my time consuming other people's content, people that I know, their content, or it's also got a lot of history on me, so it knows that I'm in the travel business, that I am an executive in a company. So it serves me up all sorts of things. But what I love about Instagram is they are competing whatever that advertiser is doing, they're competing for my attention, and they have to come up with a clever way to get me to stop. And I'm sure that's the same for you. I'm not just saying I'm just so hard to reach. I'm just saying, I didn't come to social media to be sold to. I came to see what's going on with my friends and get inspired. But if I catch myself spending time on an ad from a company I've never heard of, I immediately start to ask, why? Why is that? And I might click on their ad and I might go to their landing page being the thing that's connecting the ad uh, to the action to ultimately a marketing environment for me to convert and become either a lead or a customer, kind of depending on the product. So if I go through that journey, I bookmark that, and I have a bookmark, a saved list in Instagram that's called Swipe. And that could be an HR company. That could be, like I said, gutters. It could be anything. I will say that I'll go back to my Disney references. Um, when you walk through one of those theme parks, you are being accosted by so many brands, and they do it in a really brilliant way. So when I look at their social media channels, I get inspired by a logo that they did for Disney Run. I'm not a part of Disney Run. I don't do that, but I'm just saying I can appreciate those design elements, and so I'm always looking for things to inspire me. Uh, yeah. So have a swipe file, and don't feel like you're cheating. You're not cheating. It is just a way for you to collect your ideas. Now, if you want to create a Pinterest board to grab ideas, especially if you're in that stage of I'm not actively working on my brand, or it could be a reboot of your brand, or it could be starting your brand all over. So I'm saying you're in a passive mode. So you're not necessarily doing the research right now, but you want to start to collect that information. A Pinterest board is a great way to just have a nice visual of what you've seen on the web. And I see Misty said, I love Pinterest for swipe ideas. I love it. I love it. Kimberly, oh, we are on the Pinterest. So if you aren't on Pinterest, you need to get up on there. But use Pinterest to capture your ideas, or you can do something as simple as if you're on a Mac or you have an iPhone, you've got the Apple Notes app. You can drag pictures, you can drag links, you can cut and paste copy that you see, or maybe you received an email from, I always go to Sephora in terms of emails because they make sure that my inbox is full. But sometimes I look at them and I'm like, you know what, those are great colors that really work well together. I could see that being something for Camp Marketeer, right? I could see it being something for that. So you could drag it into Apple Notes. You could even create a Word doc where you're just dropping things in. It doesn't have to be pretty. But if you collect these things with a mission, then you're going to be able to look at it all. And I use the word percolate a lot because I do believe in creative procrastination. I need to sit with things for a little bit. And that's the same way, I'm going all the way back to the beginning, where if I'm working on a project, if I'm actively working on a project, a design project, a brand project, I am going to print those things out. Maybe I've collected them over time, or maybe I'm doing some research right now. I want a logo that looks kind of like this. And then I go on a mission and I just print all those things out. I have a big blue board that I can use a push pin to stick things in. And that wheels anywhere. It can wheel into a conference room. It can wheel into my office. It can wheel into someone else's office. But that is this active, essentially a storyboard in a way, of just letting me see it in real time. I'm not connected to anything electronic that can distract me. So I can really see do I like this? Do I like this right now? In 3 hours, do I like it? In 3 days, do I like it? And when you're making big moves like building your brand, you do need to sit on it for a little bit because you might get so excited about black bears and beyond travel, right? And then as you walk past it, you could even stick it with magnets on your fridge. I do that a lot. You walk by it and you're like, you know what? I'm feeling the black bears. I'm just not feeling beyond travel. And then you walk away from it. Maybe you let the dogs out. You go outside with them and you come back in and you're like, no, you know what? I need that beyond travel. I need that, right? So have my advice is when you're working on the bigger projects, print it out, sit with it for a little bit, and make sure it feels right. You have to trust your gut. Don't convince yourself into something. Okay, we all do that. We do that with people that we shouldn't, right? We're like, they're all right. No, they're not. We know it, right? So don't convince yourself to like something. You will know when you truly like it and you're not just like, I guess it's okay. If I guess it's okay is not going to serve you 3 years, 10 years from now when you need that motivation and inspiration that we were talking about with your brand vision yesterday. If you're like, maybe I could get rid of it. I don't know. I could take it or leave it. That's just not the right place to be in. So, having said that, print away, hang things up, put it up with sticky tape. I don't care. Just let it sit for a little bit. Some of the quicker decisions that you need to make, like a social post, don't you maybe you don't need to spend a lot of time on it. But the bigger ones that are going to live for a while, definitely sit on it. Let's see. Leslie said Joshua is preaching facts this morning. LOL. Sit with it. Is it right with your soul? Yeah. Do not let a branding decision not be right with your soul. That would be very, very wrong. I love it. Thank you, Leslie. All right. I want to show you. Uh, so this is not necessarily in the creative thinking mode. It's just more of the way that I have always organized a brand once I start to build it. And just like I've said it with your website, it should never be finished. You should always, if you are finished with your website, then hold up. You're not in the right mindset because your website, just like your brand, should be evolving. Now, sometimes that's a lot of little iterations, and sometimes it's just knowing that you could evolve further with anything that you're working on. You just don't want it to be done. If it's done, very much like I said yesterday, if you're not growing, you're dying. So just know, with the World Via brand, it has evolved since it was first born in December of 2017. Okay. It went through a whole evolution. And even in the last 18 months, there have been subtle changes. And I go back to something everybody knows Campbell's soup. It's been around since I believe the 1800s, I believe. Somebody could look it up on ChatGPT and tell me otherwise, but I feel like it's been around for a while. Um, yes, Robin, good. So there is a fact about it that they have tweaked that logo I want to say it's every 3 years. It has had some tweak. Um, and when you look at the logo, I bet you don't think it has changed whenever you were born, we're not going to get into ages, but whenever you were born, I bet you think it looks exactly the way it did back then because it's all been these subtle tweaks. Some of the tweaks, especially with these older brands, really come from design tools advancing and needing sharper lines with printing and things like that. But even sandals and beaches, um, I and this is when you really know that that we're all the same when it comes to branding, because I bet you don't think about Sandals and Beaches logos evolving. But I want to say it was 2 years ago. I was at a conference and I saw some of our friends at Sandals and Beaches. And I go and visit with them. And I said something, I was being polite. I don't know that their website or their booth was that amazing. But I said, "Oh, I love your booth," because I hadn't seen it before. I do know that. And their whole team said, "Oh, well, it's brand new." And I was like, "Oh, I can tell, it's great." Gosh, that sounds really fake. I wasn't, I was sincere. I was happy to see them and see their booth. Um, but they immediately jumped into, yes, what do you think about the new branding? And I looked at this sign that said Sandals and Beaches, and I was just like, don't I don't know what changed. I don't know what changed. I am completely lost. Well, they explained to me that the Sandals logo had evolved, and then Beaches always had a different look and feel. They kind of mimicked each other, but it wasn't exactly the same. So part of this brand evolution, not revolution, that they did, again, I couldn't tell that something had changed. They made the Beaches logo, the text look like the Sandals text and font. And I just, I mean, I was amazed. It didn't surprise me. I know this happens all the time. But the fact that it was so important to their team, I don't think their customers knew, but they're as a team, they had marketing people, designers come in and explain this to them. So for them, it was a big deal. They had to change all their collateral, all their signage, their booth. This was a very big move for them. So the reason why I say this is, again, big company like Sandals and Beaches, the Walt Disney Company, if you look at some of the logos over the years, it's evolved. Um, Campbell's, they've all evolved their logos. So you can make those tweaks. Again, it's a living, your brand is a living human, it's a little human, or it's a brand human. I don't know. It's a brand superstar. And it's evolving, they're evolving their brand, and it's a big deal to them, just like it's a big deal to you. So, again, don't be done with your website, don't be done with your brand. It doesn't mean that you have to change it all the time. It's okay if it does need to change. All right, so I'm going to stop preaching. Wow, that was pretty soon we're going to have the hymns according to travel marketeering. I don't know. I feel a vibe coming on, but we're not going to do that. I'm going to show you a tool that I use called Frontify. And hold on, I got to look over here to see what I'm doing. Stand by, guys. I have to look at this and click on, there we go. And I'm going to make that bigger. Um, okay, so Frontify. Can you guys see the big purple? Yeah. Yes, thank you, Anna. All right, so Frontify is a tool. I do believe you can sign up for a free component, which it will suffice for most brands. However, we do pay for this tool because it's housing a lot more sub brands, and we just need more space there. So I do believe there's a free version. If not, there's also something similar in Canva, which we'll pop over and take a look at it. But what I want to show you here is this is the World Via brand, and this is World Via, not World Via Travel Network. You can see this is just World Via, which World Via is the shorthand for our entire company. And it's also by itself is the brand for worldvia.com, which is all about driving traffic, building a traveler audience, and supporting our advisor showcase. Okay. So I'm starting here because I just want to, this is, to me, this is, where it all starts. But we have the logo in our grape color. We have it in black with both of these have the registered trademark. and we have it in white, although you can't see it here. And that's also, you can see with the file name, that's with the registered trademark. And then we have it without the trademark, okay? Because there are some instances where we don't want that. And then ultimately, we have the CMYK version, which is the Illustrator file that is ready to make edits. It's also dealing with CMYK color, which is the print color, versus RGB, which is the screen color. Okay. So this is WorldVia. And then we get into typography. And these are our fonts. So we have established a header font, which is Lex Deca, and you can download it. And then we have a subhead and one that we use for CTAs that is Lex Deca, but a little different weight. So the first one, the header is 700, and then the subhead is 500. So you can see a little less bold, a little smaller. Um, Actually, no, it's the same size. It's just the heaviness of the color. Now that color could be purple, it could be orange, it could be any of our colors, but we want the subhead to be a little softer than the header. Then we get into our body copy. So that's the meat of your messaging, whether it's print or it's emails or blogs. So and these I always establish for any brand I work with, even if there's fonts that I might bring in for a special promotion, right? I don't have to use our brand fonts in order to communicate like a spring fling kind of a promotion or something like that. But we have a lot of variety here. With the body copy, we use a DM Sans, and you can see all of these fonts are sans serif. So a serif is that little swooshy bit that you see on more traditional fonts. And then the sans serif does not have it. So you can see these have clean edges. Um, I will say that even though we didn't make that choice here, when I'm working on typography for a brand, I generally like to use one serif font and one sans serif font. I feel like they play well together. It just, to me, it's very pleasing to the eye. But there are guidelines and there are rules. It's not a rule, it's just something that I try to incorporate when I'm working on a brand. But we decided we didn't want the serif, so it is sans serif all the way. But again, you still might see that in a uh, uh, sorry, hold on. You still might see it in a promotional message. Okay. So so you could see some funky Hawaiian fonts out there in some of the different different applications, different assets that we might use. So we have the logo files, we've got the typography, and then we go into colors. When I dream in color for sure. And here we get into colors. Now you can see we have our main brand color is purple. It's clairvoyant purple. We did not name that purple, so we didn't customize that purple. That was the purple that we loved, and that is its universal name. Okay. So clairvoyant purple, and then we get into our secondary colors. Now, do you have to have secondary colors? No, but depending on your brand, you might want to. When you have sub brands, which as a company we do, we have lots, whether it's travel marketeering or road shows, different events that we do. We have lots of different brands. So having more colors helps us uh, tell the story and make it easy for our audience to understand, oh, that's still in the family, right? I can connect it. So here our secondary colors are coral and hibiscus. And you see here, when we plugged in, this is the hex code. It gives us this color. It renders this color in design. So when you're picking a color or you're trying to adjust a color in Canva, you'll grab that hex code to drop that in to make sure it is the right. I see you, Lori, and I will tell you about purple in just one second. So you'll use that hex code in Canva to make sure that it matches your palette, and I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. But then if you were working with a printer, maybe you were having some cool t-shirts made, and they said, tell us what your color is. The printers are generally going to use a CMYK code, and this Frontify automatically assigned it by us putting the hex code in. If you didn't use Frontify and you needed to get the CMYK, if you search what is the CMYK code for this hex code, then you'll get that information. It's not a secret, and there's not some magical formula. It's all readily available to you. So secondary colors, coral, hibiscus, and then we wanted some additional colors to play with, some highlight colors. Look at this in terms of order of importance. The main color is going to be the one that we lead with the most. It's going to be the environment, the background color for the whole world. And then we start to bring in some of these secondary colors. And then for little pops of color, we're going to use the additional colors or highlight colors. So we've got Caribbean green, teal. We've got a ripe plum, which you're like, wait a minute, that looks kind of like clairvoyant. Well, it's subtly different. If you look on my screen, on your screen, it might not look too different, but clairvoyant is a little deeper, ripe plum is a little brighter, and then grape is a little more muted. So how do we use this? The grape might be a font color that we use, or it might be a neutral background instead of black. Maybe we want to use a purple color, but we need it to not vibrate. We don't want it to glow. So this, if you can see, they all play well together. But if you were to look at some of our marketing materials, our newsletters or things like that, you would see certain things be more dominant in places. You're going to see that clairvoyant purple a lot. You're going to see it on World Via Pro. You're going to see that all over the place. But then on the buttons, you're going to see us use hibiscus. Or you might even see an event, a promotional message about an event where our main color is the teal, and then we used other colors within the palette to to dress that up. But we wanted to make that promotional message stand out, or that brand stand out in comparison with the rest of the family. Now, scrolling down a little bit further, oh, and we don't have it here. Oh, well, so it should be here, but it is not. We also have a series of light, almost white colors, but they're not bright white. So we've got some of those colors, and then we also have uh, a black that's not black. Like it's a little more of a charcoal, and then we've got some grays that all are chosen to work within this family here. Now, this has been a journey. Lori asked, what is tell the story about the purple. So let me show you first, Lori. This all got started with let me see. I think that's the wrong one. Hold on. World Via Travel Group. Okay. Oops. Oh, I don't still have it here. There's an older version of this. So when we came up with the World Via brand, it was going to be a content site, a media site, all about trying to attract travelers to this website. Now, at that time, there was not a network of advisors behind it. It really was holding space on the web for this website. Now, the colors that we chose, which are now the colors in our office because that's when we made that decision, the colors were gold and a deep navy color. And that seemed very classic. It fit what we were working on at the time. It wasn't because our retail stores were all Travel Leaders stores, so they were all in the Travel Leaders brand. We didn't want it to look like Travel Leaders. We wanted it to be its own thing. But there was some crossover at that time where we some of the leads that might have been generated from this website could have gone to these Travel Leader stores. So I'm sorry I don't have the color here. I That's disappointing. I thought we did save that. But the navy and the gold worked pretty well with the travel leaders. Let's do that real quick. Travelleaders.com with this goldish orange that they have and the red. So the Worldview colors kind of they weren't the same, but they didn't look completely foreign. So anyway, that's those were the original colors. So then, when all of the different businesses that made up our parent company got together for a leadership meeting, we shared with them what was going on with this World Via brand that we were doing. It was a side project. It was truly a side project. And and this really shocked me, every single business leader, and many of them had been a part of their brand since the very beginning, said, let's change our name to World Via. And there were some implications with that we weren't going to make a quick decision like that at that moment. But our original company name was more of a holding company. It was called Travel Equity Partners. So it it quickly it made it very easy for us to become World Via Travel Group, and everybody was really happy. So we became World Via Travel Group. Again, we were still in that gold and navy blue palette. Because it was a behind the scenes thing. It was not something that needed to be. It wasn't competing with anybody. So Lori asked me, why did we go with the purple? Well, I will tell you, I love purple. No, that's not it. I will tell you the real story. So, there are, at that time, as a host agency, there maybe were seven competitors in the space, not the same size. Many of them were much bigger than we were. And when we just did a flying visit. This wasn't a deep dive. We didn't hire a firm to evaluate. We just, searched incognito just so they knew we weren't looking at their sites. And we just pulled a bunch of our competitors and noticed that while some of them might have had a color similar to purple, nobody had purple. And that felt good. I mean, a lot of people had red. A lot of people had red. A lot of people had yellow. That was kind of interesting that so many people had red and yellow. Um, but and I As this Maria said, my colors are kind of purple, and I look over and mean royalty. Um, I think that's what you were saying, that when you look at them, it gives you that royalty vibe. And so I'm going to tell you, I'm walking you real time through this process, okay? So we're seeing that p purple is the missing color here. It feels kind of good. You can do a lot of things with purple. And then I remembered that the UK, their Union Jack, their flag, has red and blue, but they are not the same red and blue that we have in the American flag. It's a little deeper. And this is my mind starts wandering, and I let my mind wander when it goes there. Um, and then I thought, well, I know that we're going to have as we develop our brand, we're going to have lots of different components that we want to make sure are branded. And we need more of a color palette to work with. And some of these brands, whether they're World Via Pro, Email Plus, Roadshow, Core, World, all the different events that we have, all the different products that we have, we're going to have a lot of different brands. So how can we make purple sing? And so then I I thought, who other than Disney, because as you know, I go there a lot, um, who other than Disney has a big brand, a wide brand, and but they still have to differentiate all the sub brands that make it up. And I was thinking about the UK. I thought about the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. I think it's corporation. Um, and let's see, BBC Studios uh, branding. I think this is what I started with the BBC and then I kind of drilled down into it. And then take a look at this. Look familiar? Yeah. So this is an agency that worked on the BBC Studios, which is a sub-brand within the BBC family. And I'm like, ooh, I like this. I like this little gradient going on. What's the colors? What's happening here? Okay, this is pretty good. What is this? Oh my gosh, who would have put all these colors together? Okay, so now I'm getting really excited, and that's just some color swatches, right? And then I go in, and I think this is a motion graphic. So this is this you Look at that. It's transitioning from the colors. Look at them work together. I am loving it. Oh my gosh. Let me look at business cards. And this is what any brand agency, design agency would do when they're building out a brand identity. They would really take it beyond just here's your logo. They need to show it all in all its applications. And here here's that orange color that they were using. They're using the pink. This is a picture of their studios in London. And then here's that whole swooshy thing. Here it's in its different stages. And then now they're talking to you about how the logos and the font are all working together. And then here was another application that I really loved seeing. And I got to see it in print and different things. I got to see it on badges, on elevator doors, on social media covers. Look here, I'm seeing an advertisement for one of their programs that the BBC Studios put together, and if you notice, the whole thing is not purple, right? There's a little bit of purple here, and then here's that orange color that they used. So those were the nods to connect this additional brand to the BBC Studios brand. It connects it all together. So I'm like, this really has this. I'm really vibing with this. So we then grabbed some of the colors and then started working with them. So went to the brand guidelines, started playing with the colors. Um, Oops. And our colors are not exactly those same colors. And we use them differently than the BBC Studios uses it. But you can see where the idea came from. Looking elsewhere to see an idea fully fleshed out, and it made it very easy for us to take it on and explore. So that's really where it started. And from now we're now building things pretty quickly because we've already established that, our clairvoyant is our main color. But there are times when the main color can take a back seat. And we make those decisions based on how everything plays together. And we make mistakes all the time. Using that gradient, if you notice, and maybe now that I say this, you'll probably see this everywhere. But gradient is being used everywhere, and so are these little like airbrush blobs. They're everywhere. It looks like nail varnish has just like spilled on a table. But then spread. It's airbrushed. I don't know. You see it everywhere. So as our team has played with the palettes, and tried to stretch it a little bit and expand our horizons, I'm not going to say they weren't big mistakes, but looking at them now, I'm like, you know what? Everything else that we do, even when we're exploring in different areas, I feel like it's connected to the brand. Some of these maybe show cards that we've done, I'm like, I don't know, I don't necessarily know that it's the World Via brand, and that's okay. So we talk about it as a team, and sometimes it's just getting somebody. And I had somebody say this once, um, that they were they were using the colors, and but they wanted to create something unique. They didn't have time to work with our design team, so they went into Canva and they just knocked this out. And they had every intention on having it redone with our designers, which is brilliant. I don't let it stop you. Like go and make things. But the truth is that that particular instance that I'm talking about, it stuck. And so it's still living today, and that's okay. I mean, it's not, oh my gosh, clutch my pearls, it's so awful. No, it's not that. It's just that knowing that we went there with that one example, I'd say we now aren't going to make that decision, or we're not going to do that again. But we're still going to keep trying to do new things because sometimes doing those new things will allow us to stumble onto something else that we didn't know about, or we never even imagined. So I love that. But that also comes from years and years of being a branding and a marketing person. I know the things that you, I know that you can't make major mistakes when it comes to testing ideas, because for the most part, you're not having to live with it for years and years. If you want to change, there was a moment in time, I will tell you, that grape was about to take over and clairvoyant was going to start to go away. It was going to be an additional color. So we flipped for a minute, and to tell you the truth, as it started to be blown out, as the grape color started to be blown out in very big ways, it wasn't vibrant enough. And I hope you know this about World Via today. We're all about being vibrant. So that was something we were able to reverse. We'll still use the grape when we're looking for an alternative to black that still stays within our family. But it's very much like it's a color palette. It's an artist's palette. And sometimes that artist is going to paint a little bit more here, and they're going to use some wipes to remove some of it. So you're an artist. Play. Feel free to play. But the travel marketeering component of doing this is using, whether you use Frontify or you use, let's see, do I have it here, the brand guide? So within Canva, there is a brand kit option, where you can identify the things, right? You can even add documents about your brand voice. You can add photos that you like to use. This is really helpful just to see your brand in one go, just like I was showing you in Frontify how we use it. So you've got options to do this, but that is the travel marketeering side. Once you start to formulate your ideas, get it in a place where even if you're going to continue to tweak it, it gives a snapshot of where you're at right now. Let's see. Let's see. Kianda said, "Can I make it a little bit larger?" Stand by. Um, I should be able to. Stand by. Let's see. Look at that. How'd I do? Yeah, I think we did all right there. You are welcome. You are definitely welcome. Let's see. I think I saw something that I want to hit on here. Um, Robin said that she just got a new travel advisor package in the mail. That was the orange tote with the purple notebook, pen, and magnet. I think the T is coming. Oh, the T-shirt. You're talking about the uh, Love Travel, Live Travel shirt. Yes, those haven't shipped yet. Um, and for everybody on the call, the every year we do a Love Travel, Live Travel inspired shirt. And I don't think we've shared the design yet. But on the ooh, I know I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. I can't keep a secret. But when those sh shirts start to ship, I almost said something I shouldn't have right there. Um, you'll notice that this is a fun design. We didn't have to stay within the World Via color palette or fonts, the typography. We didn't have to do that. This is a commemorative shirt. We do one every year. Last year it was red, white, and blue. This one is like a cream, orange, and teal look, kind of a retro shirt look. And that's okay. When you get it, I think you will still say, well, that represents World Via. So depending on the project, there's guidelines, but the rules you can bend a little bit. Yeah. All right, so let's see. All right. Sorry, I can get distracted there. So brand kit showed you that. I did want, let's see. I teased this yesterday. And there is something called the fifth element to your brand. So we know we've got the primary mark, your main logo treatment, right? Then you can have a secondary brand mark. It could be maybe some people who have a square logo, something that is the same size vertically as it is horizontally. That's their main logo, and that's brilliant. That's great. However, on a website, those square logos are not very friendly. If you notice, most logos on a website go horizontally. Okay. And that's because you want to get down to the business of your website. You don't want to have a lot of negative space where your logo is just taking up space. So in those instances, you'll have a horizontal version of your logo. So that's that secondary mark. And I was talking to Catherine. She's on the call. She did our first when we just rebooted our website Throwdown. Her website has a square logo, and it was spacing things out. So I said, grab a vertical logo. I mean, sorry, a horizontal logo. Grab a horizontal logo. And with her logo, she had her tagline under it, which was again making everything more small. And if she removed the tagline and shifted some things around with her logo, then her company name and an icon that she has a part of her logo would be very easy to see as you're visiting the website and doing all the things on the website. So that's a secondary mark. Then you've got your color palette. Then you've got the typography. That's the text, the fonts that you're using for your text. And then you've got that fifth element. And that is the extension of your brand. Those could be iconography that you use. Maybe you use a certain type of style of icon on your website or on your email marketing, or you have photography that looks a certain way. Maybe it all has you use a special filter on it to where everything has more of a pinky tone. Okay. These are all extensions of your brand. Your brand starts to stretch out in different ways, but it's that fifth element that oftentimes we don't explore until we need those photos or even maybe some caricatures. One of our members has a mascot, Melvin. And I love him. I love him. But he is a cartoon character and he shows up in different places. And that is a great brand extension is Melvin. And so I don't even know the origin story of how he came to be, but he did come to be. And that probably was through making different choices or having different needs. And now it's become a part of their brand. So you want to look for those. Do you have to build it all out in one go? No, you don't. But just like when we were looking at the BBC studios with that one, let's see, hold on, where was it? Here, this photography here. Now I have no idea because the design team who put this together, this is their website where they're trying to showcase their work that they did. But this particular style that they've applied to this photo would be a part of that fifth element. So just, I wanted to plant the seed. I wanted you to think about what is your fifth element? Do you even have a fifth element? Or did you build one and didn't know that you built it? Well, now be more intentional about extending your brand and making sure that you have some of these brand extensions. Okay. So going back to, uh, let's see. Rebecca said, Connie, Worldvia has a program where they'll create your logo. They are incredible. Yes, Rebecca, I forgot all about that. You use Design Studio. So if you search Design Studio in WorldVia Pro, we have a service where our designers will, and our success team helps project manage this for you. But for $199, they'll do your logo. They'll build email designs. I mainly keep them around logos because when you start to get into email design, it depends on where you're at in terms of how you're using different email tools. But they can also do business cards. They can do all the things. But I forgot Rebecca had used them. And Rebecca, if you could share the design, if you've got it on a web page or maybe a social post that you did, I just remembered when your project was done. I remember the whole team sharing it and did a nice little victory walk around that and loved that you loved it so much. But yeah, the design studio is there. And just so you know, if you are using the design studio or you're using a freelance designer, bring that swipe file or bring that mood board that you've come up with. Or I would have given the team this BBC Studios mock-up around the brand and said, this is what I want our brand to look like. Um, and oddly enough, until I opened this up, I didn't realize that part of our PowerPoint template that we built out to work within the brand really knocked off that swooshy thing. This is exactly what that looks like, except ours is a little brighter. Well, Joshua won't be using that template anytime soon. Well, that was something we could definitely work on. Oops, I just gave away something there. All right, so fifth element. I wanted to show you we have something called our journey line. And you may have seen this. We have our journey line pens that we wear. Each year, it's a different color. Um, and oh, here you go. So these haven't been updated, guys. So this yellow that you see, this sunshade and Governor Bay, these were the original Worldvia Travel Group colors. So if you notice, these are not the same colors outside of Clairvoyant. That's not the same. We had Caribbean green or blue. I can't remember what the name of it is. We have hibiscus. We have coral. This was carnation. So when the first iteration of our color palette, we definitely had the clairvoyant. We loved that, but we had to make sure that if we were going to keep the gold and keep the blue, that then our pink, our turquoise, our coral color all worked. And then we had a lighter purple called Royal Heath. So if you notice, these all blend very well together. And then when you go over to where we are today, you'll see, look how much more vibrant they are. We definitely went for vibrancy. Wow, that was cool. That was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that, and that's what camp is all about, right? Let's just get in and do it. But I wanted to show you as a part of our fifth element is our journey line. And you'll see this in different places. It's even on our name badges. But this is so I teased talking to you guys about Jason and I building the World Via brand. And I was probably with the company maybe 5 months. And I thought he was all right, but I wasn't, I wasn't in love with him. If that's how you talk about your coworkers, I don't know. But we decided, so we were going to work on this idea. And he had this awful name that he had been using prior to me joining the company for something. I can't remember what it was. It was called Via Vacations. And I don't know why I hated that so bad. I detested it. He kept wanting to come back to that when I said, let's create a media company to build an audience around travel. And he was like, oh, I've got this Viva Vacations. So I'm like, no, stop. It's never going to be a thing. It's not going to happen. So what I can say is through this collaboration, um, we came up with the name World Via. So my contribution was World. I'm just saying, it was such a big one, right? Like, what do we call a travel company? World. That was pretty easy. But we were able to keep the Via part, and that was something. It was important to him. I mean, it was his company. I didn't want to completely destroy it, but I shared this yesterday. I wanted to make sure that our brand name, because at that time we had a retail travel agency, we had a humanitarian agency, we had a corporate travel management company. So it was a very diverse group of businesses that made up this company. So I wanted to make sure, like Virgin, we had a name that could go with us and grow with us. So Via Vacations said vacations, right? And that could have been fine if that was all it was going to ever be. But something told me that it would be much bigger. And so I said, let's drop vacations and then let's add world. And like I said, it was a gut feeling. It was like, okay, that feels right. And we opened it up to, we used 99 Designs, which is a contest design platform where you post a project, you give a brief, here's what we're looking for, here's the story, come up with a logo. And one of the things that I love for most brands that I create is I like to have a font treatment. So when you just see the words, it doesn't have to be fancy, but it just when you have the name of the company, it is unique. And that gives you what we got here, which was world, pretty basic and standard, and then the via with a little flourish. But I love to have an icon. Now the icon doesn't always have to be with the words of the business, but it can be. So the company that or the person who was winning the contest, they had done this treatment. This actually has not changed since their first concept that they sent through. And then they had used, those little map droppers that are in Google Maps. I think it's just Google Maps because I think Apple Maps does a pin. But on Google, it has a little like cone, upside down rounded cone. It has a little dot in the center. So that's what they used as an icon. And I detested it because to me, in 10 years' time, what if we don't have that anymore? What if we just have blobs of gradient color, like nail varnish that has spilt on the table? It just seemed like something that could get dated. And this is where I get so excited about the stories behind the brands, and they don't always come when you're first developing a brief for coming up with your brand. It can come through what you see and how you want to incorporate it, what it makes you think of. So anyway, I'm going to show you that World Via Travel Group logo. So imagine this hot air balloon was just had a pointy thing at the bottom. Okay. So what Jason did, he was looking at this concept. I had it printed out. I had all the designs. They were printed out all over my office. He comes in and he's like, I know you hate this. But let me tell you something. And I'm like, oh, what's he about to tell me? He's going to go back to Via Vacations. Mm-mm-mm. No, your powers are not going to work here. No. He said, I've always wanted a hot air balloon. And I thought, I don't think anyone has has ever said that to me, that they wanted a hot air balloon. And so he took that little map marker thing and then he put a little basket. He just drew a little basket and he said, it's like a hot air balloon. And okay, I'm there. And he said, but you don't just want to have a balloon. What if it had sort of a W that looked kind of wavy? So it's a nod to World Via, but it could be like the waves on the ocean. It could be a mountain range. It could be like in the old films when they would show the map and then a plane flying in all different directions. So it could be like the winding of a route on a map. And so he just kind of did it up, and then we gave it back to the designer, and then this balloon is what emerged. So I really loved that. I loved that. Now, it wasn't until 2018 when all of the different business units that were a part of our company wanted to change their name that I, as a brander, wanted to figure out a way to connect them. And I knew the story of these lines, this W that was sitting here. And then it started to make me think, well, what if this is the journey line? So it's the journey of a traveler that is working within the World Via brand, the media site, or from the host agency, the journey of our entrepreneurs, even our team members, their journey through their career. So all of a sudden, the journey, and if you look at some of the things that we've written, we incorporate this journey. And then when we started evolving the brand further, and then the original Travel Quest was going to become World Via Travel Network because it wasn't protected from a trademark standpoint, and there were lots of travel agencies called Travel Quest. So we knew we were going to be moving to World Via Travel Network. Then it was, how do we make that journey line work for the network? And so here's the journey line, and you will see that on all of our name badges, no matter what part of the company you work on. But when it becomes the network is this circle that surrounds the journey. So that's the origin story of this fifth element piece called the journey line, which you see in lots of different places across our brand. And we love the journey line pens that we do each year. If you come to one of our events, or if you just joined us, you get those that we hand them out pretty freely throughout the year. And then when the next year comes around, it's time for a new iteration of it. So it's just a cool thing that has now, there's a story behind the brand, and then some of these same elements appear on our PowerPoint template. They are on part of receipts, so it's touching you in all sorts of ways. So anyway, that's a big long story of this brand and how it came to be, and how it could have gone a completely different way and been called Via Vacations. Thank goodness it did not. But here's the fifth element. Maybe you have an icon, and maybe that icon has a very a specific story. Or if it doesn't today, or it didn't have it when you created it, how could it? Because I find that now that our team has grown and every new team member is told this story of the origin story, right? It is the coolest thing when I hear somebody talking about how the journey line came to be. It's one of those cool moments where you're like, oh, that's that brand living on, which is exactly what you want it to do, right? So think of different ways that, and you don't have to force it. Don't force it. Absolutely don't force it. But sometimes if you just are aware that maybe there could be a story, one might emerge. Okay. All right. I think that's good. I think I've explored a brand guide. I highly recommend that you start pulling the different components of your brand and putting them in a brand kit. Many of you have probably started with a logo design, which is brilliant. I'm sure it has colors in it. I'm sure it has fonts in it. So I'm sure lots of the components are there. If you are designing your logo or working with someone to design your logo from scratch, I always recommend that you start with a black and white concept. Don't give them colors when you're trying to figure out how do I want the typography? How do I, what kind of icon do I want? What kind of shapes do I want? Does it look big? Does it look good, small? All the different things, right? Start with black because color can really influence you and sometimes it can bias you in a way that you completely write off a design that's actually really good, but they chose colors that you just didn't like. So always ask anybody you're working with, and if you work with Design Studio, they should always do it in black and white first. Come up with some different designs. You say, I like this, I don't like this, I'd like maybe this component with this. Do all that and then start to play with colors. Believe me, it will save a ton of time. And if you have other stakeholders, it could be somebody in your company, or it could be your magnificent other who always has an opinion, and you definitely want to include them in such a decision, right? Um, uh, have them look at things and weigh in, but make it easy for them to decide on do they like the design, and then do they like the color? Yeah. Let's see. Hold on one second here. Sorry, I really got on it, and then Selena asked the question here. I could do this with different travel, one for Caribbean and one for Europe travel. Same name, but different look. Oh, Selena. Oh, yes, you absolutely can. And I love that you said that. I love that you said that. It reminds me of a friend of ours who is on the call right now who's been on a journey. That is a great idea. So come up with the element, come up with your journey line, right? Your icon. And then maybe you have a little element that changes on the icon to represent your different types of travel that you're selling. Now, you don't have to do that. Depending on your niche and depending on how you're positioning it to the world, you don't necessarily need to create sub brands. But in some instances, it's really powerful, and doing different colors, maybe even a little different font treatment. That can be subtle ways for people to understand, okay, now I'm thinking about Europe. Now I'm thinking about Alaska. I always go to Alaska. I don't know why. So yes, you can absolutely do that and just play with it. The one thing you don't want to do, it's very much like the evolution versus revolution I was talking about yesterday, is you don't want the same name. You don't want Joshua's Black Bear and Beyond Travel um, looking very furry and fuzzy, and then all of a sudden it looking very shiny and diamonds. That that's too dramatic a change, right? But colors changing that and little accents, brilliant. So I'm really glad that you asked that. Um, uh, so Laura, thank you. She jumped in here. Yay, that's me. If you're on my main website, you can click the European collection to see the adjusted logo. It's oh man, uh, castawaydestinations.com/ the European collection. I'm gonna go there right now, Laura. Thank you so much. Castaway destinations. So Laura has been in the process of expanding her brand. And now, Laura, I know you and I have been, I always use you as my example, but believe me, my memory is not what it used to be. Uh, if I remember correctly, you were originally thinking about creating a completely different brand for your sub brands. And I think we talked about it, and you decided that you would just make you'd make it look and feel just a little bit different. So this is what she did. I'm wondering if we can see it any bigger. So this is the European collection um, from Castaway Destinations. So this is one of her signature brands. And if I click on this, will it take me? So this is the original Castaway Destinations. So if you noticed, she has she's using blue. She's used the same. I really like this too. I really like that you kept the icon, you added a little olive branch in there, and you went with that Santorini blue. I love it. Yeah, so brilliant, brilliant work. It looks they obviously echo each other. They resonate with each other. But this is one experience. There's Laura. Love it, love it, love it. And then we go over here and look at that. Oh, way to go. I can't wait. I know that you've been on this mission for the last couple of months, so I can't wait to see for this to really get some traction. But good job here. All right, let's see here. And I wanted to pop up here. There was something else I saw here. All right. Heather said, will Design Studio help with websites? Uh, they can help with web pages. Uh, not so it depends on the level of coding that you need. But talk to somebody on member success about your specific needs, okay? Because I don't want that's they do that, but when it's a drag and drop builder, if you're using sites or using Wix, what they would be doing would be more that HTML coding side of it, and it would be more on just the aesthetics. It wouldn't be the functionality of the website. So I hope that helps you there. And Robin said, "What is the best format to save your logo in?" Robin, very important here. So please, please, please always save your logo as a PNG on a transparent background. Okay. So in Canva, let's see here. Yep, you can tell this is my Canva. Look at that. That sexy beast right there. I got a new song coming out. This isn't a shameless plug, but I did have to acknowledge the Glamazon who's staring at me here. So let's see here. Camp Marketeer. Here, I'm going to grab this. All right, so here's a logo. We've got a colored background here, but I want to save this as, I'm going to download this and I'm going to click transparent background. So I can choose loads of different things. If you choose a JPEG, it does not have a transparent background. It will have a white background, or if you have a colored background, it will show that. Okay. So if you like here in this case, we've got a very small square logo on a big cream background. So it would make a big cream background as a square. Now the PNG would just be my logo mark right here, and it would allow me to float this over a background of like my background here. I could float it over this. So your PNG is going to be standard across all different platforms. It looks great on web, and it allows you to have this transparent background. There are I can't really think of any time that for a logo, when I'm saving a logo, that I save it as a JPEG. It would really be if I was putting that logo on a background and I wanted that image. But even for that, I would be using a PNG even without a transparent background, because that format is just widely acceptable on the web. Now, as far as your design file, something that Canva doesn't do, and Canva is so wonderful. It unlocks the secrets of design. It is such a fantastic tool. But what it doesn't do is save the files in vector art, which vector art is really where you start to get into the Adobe suite, creative suite of tools. And that's really the designer tools. And vector art is allows you to keep all the formatting. It allows you to a designer to tweak different elements of the logo. Can you have a logo without having the vector art? Yes, you can. Eventually, you will probably need that. But Canva is such, I mean, it makes design so easy. I'm so grateful for it. But yeah, that would be the format. I would save it in PNG. And going back to my black and white comment about designing your logo in black and white, I always save logos as a black version, a white version, a single color version, and then if I have multiple colors, then I've got that because there are times when you need it. It wouldn't make sense. This has one, two, three, four, what, five colors on it. Um, there's going to be times when I can't put that on a busy background. So I'd want a white or I'd want a black depending on where it's being used. So I need to make sure that I've got those ready to go. Obviously, I can do that really quick in Canva. I can create those different iterations. But when I'm creating my brand kit, just like you saw on the Frontify brand kit that we have, we already had the black, we already had the white, and we already had it broken out into individual colors. So I hope that answers your question, Robin. Thank you for asking the question. Let's see here. There's some chat going on. Ba, 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 ba. And Laura, look at that. You see, this is what I love is look at all the support you're getting for something that you've been working on. I know it has been a passion project for you and has been taking a lot, but I love this. I love this. All right. So what was I going to do? Oh, I was going to talk to you about using Canva to create uh, things. Let's just create things in Canvas. So let me talk about just a few things that I like to do. Now, you can design a ton of things, social posts, you can resize images for social media, you can fly in borders, you can do all sorts of things with Canva. If you are working with a designer, I like to use it to rough out some of my ideas because if I rough them out, then and send the designer the file that I've created, then I can tell them, you know what, I really like what I did here, but it looks a little too modern. I'd like to make it a little more down to earth, and I'd like to maybe have a gold foil behind it or something like that. Like I can give them cues, but at least I'm talking about something specific. Very much like when I send a mood board or I send examples of things that I like. So I'll come to Canva to do that. So I'm going to do that right now. I create a new design. I'm going to go to logo, and it's automatically going to start with a square. And what was there was what was one of the ideas? Wasn't there one about sparkles? There was for my travel agency, we were going to call it something sparkles. Um, all right, guys, I need a name real quick because I want to build a concept for a logo for my travel agency. Sparkle Vacation. Okay. So, Sparkle Vacation. This is me creating a logo for Sparkle Vacation. Okay. All right. So, Sparkle, that's pretty easy, right? So I don't necessarily know what Sparkle Vacation specializes in. And but I know that I like sparkles, so this is going to be very Joshua centric. This brand. So let's see. I'm gonna do something that I do a lot. I am gonna just type in sparkle to see what might come up. So by default, when you use these template searches on Canva, it knows that you're working on a logo file, so it's going to pull a bunch of logos. So let me see. What do I like here? Oh, I do like that, but it gives me a 1970s t-shirt vibe. So maybe not. This is a little too, um, I don't know. That's not, that looks too, oh, that looks a little immature for me. I am mature. I try to be mature. Um, Oops, where did I go here? Let's see here. Okay, I think we're onto something here. I know I was just going off about gradients, so I think that's kind of funny. Um, all right, what I love is not necessarily this font, but I love this business, this little celestial piece here. But I can already tell you, I that background is gonna cause me problems. And I said I like to work in all black and white. So I'm going to change this to black. Let's see. This is when I stop talking. Um, Oops, hold on. Make that black, that black, and that black. I'm not sure why I couldn't get to that. All right. All right, so now I'm here. I don't like this font, but let's go ahead and drop in Sparkle Vacations. All right, so we don't like this font. Um, let's see. But when I think Sparkle, I do think uh, constellations. I mean that's definitely Starlight, Starbright. I'm kind of thinking that. Um, I I might sell, depending on what my niche is, I might even though the name is kind of fun, I might, oh, it would help if I spelled it correctly. If any of you, I have not looked over the chat, and if any of you called it out that I misspelled sparkle, I'm going to be so impressed. I'm going to be so impressed. That happens to me more times than not. All right, let's see. I need this to be a little sturdier. So when I say sturdier, I just need it to be a little more, um, I don't know, a little more serious. Uh, I don't know what I just did there. Let's see, that one was League Spartan. Okay. All right. Kind of liking that. I like this little, how these two lined up with the bottom of the P and the V. They look like they're kind of friends, but I might need to make this a touch smaller so I can really get it connected. So it still has a space, but now this is me doing DIY design. A true designer would be applying all sorts of deep knowledge here, and I love that when they do it. But I'm watching my budget, and I need something kind of quick. So, all right, I feel like I'm almost there. And let's see. I might leave a bigger space because I don't want to necessarily connect them. Um, kind of like this. Okay. Now, what I do know is there's going to be times when I need this is a square logo, so this is going to be tall and wide. But there's going to be times when maybe I need to kill this guy here. My little stars and my little what's that called? My orbit. That's my orbit. Oh, I just made like a journey line for Sparkle Vacations. Um, so what I'm going to do, because I like this, Sparkle is bigger than Vacations. Now, just from a brand perspective, I if I call this Vacations, then I can't ever do corporate travel. Now, Sparkle wouldn't have worked well with corporate travel. But when you start to use names like Vacations, Getaways, things like that, you are now saying that is going to be all you are going to do. And that is 100% fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just if I had my eye on also opening up an arm of my business that was corporate travel, I would probably have to create a completely different sub brand, which would be very different from what Laura has done. So anyway, uh, I'm gonna go with this because I'm just showing you how I work here. And then I want to see what this would look like without the orbit and the stars. So I just duplicate it. I hit the duplicate, and then I am going to get rid of those things. And this is what my logo would look like horizontal. Yeah. All right. I'm kind of digging this, digging this. Now, let me see it if it was on a dark background. So now I'm going to make all of this white if I can. I think I still have to grab these guys separately. I hope you guys are having fun watching me play. Um, oh, where'd it go? All right. And then that guy is now white. And I'm going to change my background. Why, man? I promise I use this. Oh, wow, that's pretty striking, isn't it? For being black and white, it's actually giving me a little sparkle. And then I would do the same thing here. I'll duplicate this. I will make this white, and I will make my background black, and that helps me with my concept, okay? So I've just created one file where I can scroll and maybe I print this out now, and just see if I like the structure of this logo. And this is also how I would do anything. So if I created an email graphic, like a header for an email, I would do the same thing. I'd play with it and see different ways that I might have it laid out. And it's just so easy to create these different versions here. Now, I maybe I want to see this if I used, what if I used uh, World Via's hibiscus color? Oh, I shouldn't probably use their color, but I might. Kind of like that. Maybe I want to play with it and maybe I want to see what a different type of gradient would look like. Well, that's giving me sun vibes. So maybe I try, that's a little too, that's a little too much. Uh, Mmm, I kind of like that. So the idea here is I'm just playing. I'm absolutely just playing. Now, do I believe that this is the name of my company or if this should be the name of my company? I'm not there yet because I still don't know what I'm specializing in. And this is why, as I love for people to get started working on a brand. But if you don't do that work of who you're going to show up in the world as, what you do, how you do it, all the work that we did yesterday, we're just messing around with fonts and icons and colors. There's no meaning behind it. So yes, we can explore Sparkle. We can see if we like this. But because I don't have my feet firmly planted on who I want to be, this it feels like I'm just floating in space. Which I might add, this might be something that I want to look at is space. Um, Maybe I do space exploration. Um, and so I just drop in a background. I may not use this in my logo, but I want to see how would it look um, as part of, flying over a graphic, any type of graphic that I might want to have. Um, so right now, because of the way I put this in, it's sitting between my orbit line and my star, and my text is on top. So I need to click on my space picture and go to position, and I need to send it to the back. All right. These are the things that I play with all the time. Um, to just give me ideas, whether it's working on a logo, whether it's working on email headers. This is how I play. I play a lot. And let me show you some of the things that I wonder what um oh, I'll tell you. I'll show you something. So we have something called immersions. And last year they debuted, very, very successful. But the choices that we made for branding, uh, it 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 didn't work as we had planned, meaning that we were using a similar style for multiple events that were very different. So it was very confusing in using it the way we were trying to use it. So this year we wanted to give immersions their own look and feel. So here I took that was so we have three different immersions. We have our groups and destination wedding, which is also groups, and then we have our the look of luxury. That's actually the name of it, is the look of luxury. And I was trying to play with how could they look like immersions, but maybe have their own look and feel. So this was my first stab at it. I did it on a black background. I did add the color because I was trying to differentiate the three different ones. Um, and so I shared this with the team. This was, hey, let me get some input on it. Well, it fell flat. Everybody hated it. And they were so right because each of these immersions are quite special. The groups immersion is now all about where it's called growing with groups growing with groups immersion cruise edition. So there's a cruise version and there's growing with groups uh, immersion, uh, the destination wedding edition, and then there's the look of luxury immersion. Okay, so they all have very different personalities. So this got us talking about it and saying what we didn't like. And so what I did was I took all that feedback, which was essentially each one needed to have its own identity, but then there needed to be something where they were connected. Now this branding is not done. So when you see these events launch, you will see where we finally landed. And I don't have the mock-up. But when I sent this to our design team, I needed something that would give me an idea of um, that concept of having something that connects very different ideas together. And so I went to Bravo's Real Housewives, bet you weren't expecting that, logos. And I went to images and I found this item here, which I know it's very tiny. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but if you notice, Real Housewives is pretty much the same way on all the different franchises, but then they have a little element. Oh, look, Real Housewives of Atlanta with the peach, right? So I sent the designers this to say, I want the destination wedding to have a wedding vibe. And I even said, you know what, I don't want to do traditional wedding. I think of an Indian wedding with all the colors, the vibrant colors. I'd love to see what you could do with that. Look of luxury, I said, we already use gold with our Lux luminaries. So I feel like it needs to be more refined. It doesn't need to be a champagne glass. Okay. And I think you guys have all seen things that are luxury and it's just a champagne glass. And then the cruise edition, let's clearly say cruise, but let's do it in a modern way. So give each one something that unites them between immersions, but give them each their own identity. So real time example here. I cannot wait for you to see what that team comes up with when it finally comes out. So when you get the announcement that these immersions have opened, you will see where we landed, and you tell me what you thought. Yeah. Let's see here. Laura, you got, oh my goodness. No wonder I love it. Bravo is my guilty pleasure. I love it. All right. Okay, so talking about design, logo, so I wanna show you something that will help you in creating your brand. First is a tool called colormind.io. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can drop this in the chat for you guys. Um, oh, it might not do that. Stand by. Let's see. Everyone. All right, I am going to drop that in for you guys. So this is a tool that I love to use when it comes to colors. Okay. Uh, this is, let's see. So first it's going to show you different colors. It's just going to give you lots of different color palettes. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah. So I can just kind of play. And until I see colors that I like, right? It's just a great way to see colors that, from a mathematical standpoint and a color science standpoint, all these colors work together. Now, they might give you a vibe that you don't like. That's a different story. But these colors all play with each other. Okay. So you can just, this is a great place for inspiration. Just play around. But the way I love this tool is this, if you click over to website colors, okay, same interface, right? But what it does is it applies it, the color palette, to a website, okay? And it shows you how the colors could be used together. And it gives you the five colors that work together. One, the one in the middle, is your main brand color. The ones on either side are accent colors, and the ones on the very ends are your light and dark shades. Okay, and here's where that name, like I said, clairvoyant is the name of our particular purple. So these names are already out there in the world, but here I get an explanation of what the colors are, and then I just get to see ways that I may have never used these colors on a website. So here's one on a color riche setup, and then here's one on a white background. And here's what different error codes could be. This is really used for building website systems and apps. But you can see, I don't know that looking at this palette, I would have thought of using all the colors, right? So to me, this really helps me test out ideas, and I do it all the time. Now, a feature that I really love is if this middle one is your main color, you have a hex code. Um, let's see. Uh, well, I'm just going to grab, maybe I really love kind of that, uh, more of like a burnt orange kind of color. So if this is my color, so say you already have a color, maybe it's one accent color you have, and that's your main brand color. What you can drop that in by hitting this little guy here, and then you can lock it in. And now it's gonna work with that color. It's gonna keep it the same and find colors that play well with it. Now, I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. It's not the best color for me. But you know what? I like this rose color. Okay, I'm gonna lock that in. So now I like these two colors. If you look down here, it's night shades. That's gonna be my dark shade. And pomegranate is my main brand color. Not that the names matter. I'm just kind of saying that. But now that those are locked in, it's going to play and give me, look, even though this is a dark color, you might say it's black. It's actually a purple. I like that. We're starting to nail it. Not loving that tan. As you start to narrow it down, oh, I kind of like that. Um, definitely has more of a neutral feel, even though I'm using lots of different colors. And I actually like that white. It's not a white white. It's got a little bit of a blue in it. So now I really like these colors. Let me see how they play together. Okay, it's a vibe. I don't know that it's not my vibe, but here I can see, okay, on a lighter background, it doesn't seem so deep. It's just a great way to play. So I would highly recommend you do this, especially if you have one color or two colors already in your palette. Figure out, what's your main color and what might be your dark accent or a light accent. And then see if you can add some more colors to your palette. It will definitely give you a lot more freedom to play. And I love this tool. Again, colormind.io. And then to get to this, you need to hit website colors. Okay. Now, same type of thing. I'm going to go over to FontJoy. And I love this tool. This is where you can do the same type of thing. You can have it generate different fonts. So it's got a header font and a subhead and a body font. All the same three fonts that I grabbed I showed you guys in the Frontify section for our brand kit. Um, so you can find out here different ideas, or you can see different ideas that you may never have thought of. I guarantee you probably haven't thought about these combinations. But you know what? Ooh, I like this. It's bold. It's got a modern vibe. It's a blocky feel. I really like that. So I'm gonna lock that in. I don't want to lose that one. And then I'm these are okay. I don't love them. So I'm gonna generate some more. Ooh, I like that. Noto Sans. I like that. Droid Seraph. There's the little serifs here. You see them, the little doohickeys hanging off of here. All right, we're gonna try a different one. Oh, Marcellus. I kind of like that. Um, let's see. That's a little small. Um, ooh, this is a small font. I don't know if I can, yeah, I can change the weight of it. Mm, no, we're not gonna worry about that. Let's see. See, I can do this for hours. This is like a video game for me. It's like, oh, I never thought about that. Oh, I like this PT Sans. It has like the little L has a little scoop under it. So it looks like normal everyday fonts, but it has a little specialness to it. So now here I'm gonna go and put these into my brand kit. And I can continue to play with them. And if I find that I'm really struggling, I like this here, this PT Sans when I'm here, but when I look at it on a big page of text, I'm like, oh, I don't like it that much. I can come back here and I can search for my fonts that I use and lock those in and then continue to rotate out different versions. Yeah. All right. All right. So that's FontJoy and oops, I didn't, I shoot. So FontJoy, search for FontJoy, you'll find it. All right. So we feel good about playing with brand, playing with some ideas, getting some inspiration. Yeah, thumbs up. All right, I like it. I will be honest with you. We spent a lot of time talking about the design elements, so I hope you feel like that was very beneficial. Like I said, I use it all the time. It's not just when you create a brand; it's all the time. And I saw somebody, and I don't know if it was Robin. Um, uh, somebody said because I had said something about when I'm creating a header for my emails. She said, "Do you not just use your logo for it?" And if it wasn't Robin, I apologize. Uh, for the most part, I do. I use a World Via Travel Network. I use it. However, even for Travel Marketeer Camp, the email that went out didn't have World Via Travel Network because I felt like the people who were coming to Travel Marketeer Camp were coming to be a part of that. Yes, World Via Travel Network made it happen, but Travel Marketeer Camp is for people who are serious about wanting to develop their marketing skills. So I wanted to create an email that was speaking just to them. Now you tell me, did you like that email? And if you notice in that email that came out, it had little pine trees and it had a little tent. Well, the logo has a tent in it. So I was able to find, based on that design, which Ireland on our team came up with, I was able to find a background that I could put up in my studio that mimicked what she had created. So I didn't build that from scratch. That was $9. But I thought, you know what? Hey, it's camp. I want to make it special, right? So that became a part of my fifth element to my brand, or the brand of Travel Marketeer Camp. So yeah, so for the most part, I am using the main company logo when I send emails, but there may be something that maybe you, here's an example that I could see for a travel agency. If you do, or you've put together a themed group sailing that you're doing and you're trying to sell that space, you might have a graphic that really sells the theme that you guys are traveling. Maybe you're going as pirates, and this is a group of people that like to dress as pirates and sail the seas, right? So maybe you have a cool, fun graphic that speaks to that group of people, and maybe you put your company name in that graphic. Um, so if I'm sending a promotional piece about that, because it's something, it's a big thing that's going on in my agency, and I've given it its own identity, this own sub identity within my family, then I might lead with that versus making it look like every other email that I send out. Again, it's choices, and if I were you, if I was on your marketing team and you said I want to do a different header for this email, I would ask you a bunch of questions before we made that decision. And that's okay. That is perfectly fine. So just that's whether it's the header for the email, or maybe you keep your header as your company name or your company logo, and then in the graphic or you put the graphic underneath it. That's doable as well. So you're creating, for the most part, you're not going to be designing things every day, but you are going to make design choices that help you bring your brand to life. And I hope in me just showing you how I would take sparkle vacations or, look at color palettes, things like that, I hope that I showed you that it's within your reach to play and even say, you know what, I don't like that. You know what, at the end of the day, I'm spending too much time on this. Until it starts generating me more revenue, then I'm not going to spend this much time on it. Or you might say, it's just a lot of fun. And I do like, I'm exploring, I'm expanding my brand every time I do it. Oh, yes. And Robin, and everybody who's asking about these tools, they are free. The Color Mind and the Font Joy, they are free. Okay. Um, all right, I'm gonna take a break for a second. I've been talking a lot. Mm, yeah. All right. Let's talk about, let's see, I'm going to get rid of my logos here. I got to keep up with Laura. Again, I'm so proud of your brand work. All right, let's go into websites, okay? And I'm going to stop sharing just for a second because I want you to see more of me. I don't know. Just kidding. Um, Sorry, we're gonna go into sites. And I saw there was some chatter around sites, and if and I saw some people were saying that it's that you're finding it difficult. Um, I will, I would love to talk to you about that later because I've used so many different tools and I've used this tool for many, many years. Um, I take it for granted that I'm always in these tools, but it feels super easy to me. Some of the things that I think are a little extra step are getting your domain connected up. But for the most part, it builds a super fast website, very easy for you to customize, and it has all the bells and whistles, including dynamic promotions, which I have seen a lot of people take advantage of that, and I think that's really awesome. But I'd love to know more about it, but this is not a sites demo. I really just wanted to use sites as the tool that we could all go in, no matter if you've built a website somewhere else or if you haven't even made a decision on where you're going to build your website. So we're going to go into sites because I want to show you something. So when it comes to design, we talked about it. There's a preference, and with a website, you're really looking at user experience. So I've done website throwdowns for years and years and years where members will share their website and then I give them an hour of honest feedback and it helps refine the website. But for the most part, I see choices that I know why they were made because the person wanted to tell this story or this component of their story on their website. What I find that I tell them is that story, that component of their story is good, just not where you put it. And that's because as someone who wasn't there while they were creating it, I don't have any preconceived ideas. I'm just consuming it for the first time. Sometimes we jump the gun with our stories and we don't say who we are before we jump into what we do. And that is a simple thing that is often overlooked. You jump in with what do I do, and then get to know me. Well, before I want to know what you do, I need to get to know who you are. That's going to make me want to learn what you do. I know that because I have worked with so many different websites and seen people make that change and see better results with their website. And it really comes down to if you were talking to somebody face to face, what would you say first? Chances are you'd say, "Hi, my name is Joshua, and I love traveling to the UK. It's my favorite. I went in the 90s and I just keep going back. I always find something new about it. It's just the most amazing experience." So what I have dedicated my life to is creating these authentic travel experiences that go beyond the Tower of London. I mean, we see Tower of London, but we go beyond because it's such an amazing culture. And most of us, our country definitely has its roots in the UK. So it's really kind of cool to explore that and get to know the people and some of the places that we live in today in America are named after, right? I don't know. I do love the UK, but I've never really thought about that story. So first I made a connection and then I told you what I'm doing. So you want to think about that when you're building out your website. So design, choices, trial and error, test things, see how they work. But I will tell you the big secret that SEO, search engine optimization agencies, have been, it's a secret they've kept and they've made loads of money on. So if you don't know what search engine optimization is, it is in optimizing your website. So search engines and now AI tools will help your website be discovered by new people. Okay. So back in the day, it was just a keyword. If I put Madonna on my website and Madonna is popular, then my website will show up. Okay, well, that's how a lot of people did it back in the day. And then all of a sudden it became you've got to actually use keyword phrases because someone doesn't just search somebody's name and Google does not like sending its users to people's websites just because they force some keywords in, but the website doesn't actually connect their users to what they're looking for. At the end of the day, we go back to that brand purpose about Google trying to connect the world or connect people to the world of information with one click. you packing a bunch of keywords into your website, which is definitely what we did in the 90s. I'm telling you, that's what we did. Um, but that's not a good user experience for their users, and their users are the people who you want to help get discovered by, right? Or you want to encourage those people to discover you. Sorry, I said that in a very weird way. So now it is really all about creating content. Not only having web pages that tell your story, and from a distance, when if you stood 8 feet back away from the computer screen, if you look at that website without even scrolling, can you tell that you sell all-inclusive vacations for families? If you can't, then change some graphics, make sure the headline is resonating. But once you have all of that base content on your website, you need to create content like blog content that will show Google and other search engines or search tools that your website is active, it's alive, it's growing, it's healthy, right? But through blog content in particular, you start to get into the stories about things that you focus on, that you sell, that will resonate with something that maybe somebody is searching for within an AI tool like Perplexity. They might not be looking for a travel advisor. So the keyword is not travel advisor near me. That's not what they're looking for. But they could be researching the connections between the UK and America. All right, I'm going to use my example. Um, and you wrote an article about how you fell in love with the UK and loved the fact that so many places in America are named after places in the UK. Excuse me. Um, so that content, and maybe I create more than that article. Maybe I create some videos that support that. I'm really this is a part of my story, so I'm telling it a lot of different ways. That helps increase your discoverability, and that's ultimately search engine optimization. Okay, so we're going to talk about content in just a minute, but I wanted to talk about search engine optimization. So the big secret here is two things that you should fix on your website, on every page of your website today. And every platform that you're on, the only exception would be if someone built your website for you, and they hard coded it, which I don't think many of you would have gone that route. So if you use Wix, Squarespace, sites, any WordPress, any of those site platforms, you can do what I'm about to show you. And that is meta titles and meta descriptions. If you've watched Travel Marketeering, I've talked about this many, many times, but I'm telling you, the first thing, and it always works, the first thing I always do when I take on any website project is I look at every single page that's been published on a website, and I go in and look at their meta title and meta description. So what is a meta title and meta description? So I'm going to say color. I'm going to just search for color mind. Um, okay. What is a meta title and meta description? This right here is a meta title. Okay. And you notice that they say color mind, the AI powered color palette generator. Okay. That definitely tells me what this website is about. This copy down below is your meta description. Generate color combinations in one click. ColorMind creates cohesive color schemes using a deep neural net. Neural net. Okay, so that's meta title, meta description. Okay, this is easily adjusted. I'm going to show you in just a second on sites where you can make these changes. Um, and again, you can do them on all the different web platforms. You can do this. But this right here is it's just like I was talking about yesterday with headlines signaling what the website is, that these are important words on the website. This is a technical signal to search engines that these are important words that tell users about what's on these pages. And the way I have always wanted to approach it is try to think of it as a billboard. Don't make it too wordy. Don't put too much in there, but make sure that within the little bit of space that you have for the meta title and the little bit of space you have for the meta description, because on mobile, you get even less space when it comes to the meta description than we're seeing right here. So that's why this is not a big giant paragraph because they know it's going to get truncated on a mobile device. But these are the things that are going to make me click on it. If this just said color mind and it didn't say the AI powered color palette generator, I might not click on it unless I was searching for that brand. I knew that brand and I was like, oh, that's their website. I didn't know what their URL was. So they've told me what it is and they gave me a little bit more description if I needed that before I would click on it. And that's what you want to do for every single page on your website. Now, oh, that's so much work, isn't it? I've got 18 pages on my website, not to mention my blog articles, right? Um, oh, contraire, mon frere, it is not that hard because now with AI, you can you can ask it to generate ideas for you. And even if you have pages that are about the same story, it can help you generate different versions. Okay, so let me show you real quick on in sites. So here is a simple site template that I have. I've got my headline. I've got a cave image here. I got the back of my head. It's not really my head, but anyway, you can see the essential setup of my website here. So hold on, let's see here. I'm going to go to pages, and my home page is my main page on my website. And then I am going to edit page SEO. So there's gonna be some sort of SEO setting, whether you're on a Squarespace, Wix, or a WordPress. Here, I just hit the three dots and I go to edit page SEO. And here is my page meta title, and here's my meta description. And you'll see here it says 55 characters or less for my meta title, and then 160 characters for, uh-oh, I'm getting, what's going on here? Uh, oh my goodness, this whole time. I'm glad somebody put like a death icon there. That's how I was like, what's going on over there? Yes, I'm sharing right now. I am not, I'm not good at this, am I? There we go. Yeah, you definitely have been yelling at me. All right. So let me do this again. Stand by this whole time. All right. So color mind. Here's the meta title. Here's the meta description. And it's still not there. What's going on here? Hold on. Stand by, guys. Let's see. Are we there? Are we there yet? This is gonna be great on the replay. People are gonna be like, what was going on? All right, guys, bear with. I really appreciate you guys bearing with me. All right. There we are. Okay. Uh, bigger, please. Okay. I'm working on it. At Enterprises, we aim to please. My screen is blurry. Is it blurry for everybody? Let's see. Yes, everybody said it's okay. Hold on. Stand by. All right. Is that better? No. Fantastic. Not better. Let me see if I can. There we go. Wow. So, how long was I talking for? Like 45 minutes? And you had to imagine your way through that? Sorry about that, guys. All right, so let's do this again. So I searched color mind. I got this meta title and this meta description. So that's what I was trying to say there. I should have known when it was the little chat sound was popping like that. You guys were too excited about me just looking at a search engine result page. I should have known. I didn't. Clearly, I didn't. So this is the meta title is your headline, and your meta description is the copy that follows. Okay. Now I'm going to go over to sites and I'm gonna have to do the same thing. So bear with, guys. Don't start yelling at me. Um, all right, let's see. All right. So here are the different pages on this little sample site that I have. I'm clicking the three dots and going to edit page SEO. Oh Lord, I am just not going to recover now. Okay, so here's my meta title and meta description for my website. Okay. Uh, And this is so if no matter what platform you're on, it's going to call it the same thing. It's a meta title, meta description. It's going to be in an SEO tools component. Very much most of all the platforms have you going in to make these changes at the page level. So I just went to pages and then I got my pages and then the three dots and got to the edit page SEO. So here I've got Adventure Vacation Experts. I guess that's the name of my travel agency. Or no, Joshua's Travel Agency is the name of my travel agency. But we are the Adventure Vacation Experts. There we go. And my meta description, while I need to keep it under 160, I'm definitely keeping it a little light with the we specialize in custom family adventure vacations. So whether your platform has AI built in to these fields like Sites does, or you want to take this over to ChatGPT or Perplexity, you just need to say, here's what I have. Adventure Vacation Experts, Joshua's travel agency, make a meta title or a meta description that works with this. So that's how you can use it, or how you can do that in those other platforms. Here, I'm just going to click on the AI tool, and I can say Joshua's uh, Sparkle. This is not going to work with the images, vacations. What does your business do? We craft custom magical vacations for families. Now I could, if I was just serving clients in Decatur, I could say Decatur, Georgia. I could say, let's see, I'm going to grab this even though they don't really match. I just want to make sure I've got something. Um, and then I can choose the tone of voice. Do I want it to be humorous, enthusiastic, informative, professional, witty, authoritative? Well, sparkle makes me think I should go humorous. So let's see what the SEO assistant will come up with here. Okay. So for my meta title, it says Custom Family Vacations, Joshua's Sparkle Vacations. Okay. I don't like the fact that vacations is used uh, in both segments of that. So let's lengthen this and see if we can get something better. Okay. Now I don't mind this. Custom Family Vacations tailored just for you, Joshua's Sparkle Vacations. Okay. So I'm gonna use that. Now, what just happened? It said I've got 74 characters and it needs to be 55 characters or less. So let's trim. Okay. I don't really want to, on my home page, I don't want to get rid of my company name. So let's see. Uh, what about this? Again, the human being, I could have had it try over again, but I'm going to just say, let's see, custom tailored family vacations. And here, I'm going to just say by Joshua. I mean, at the end of the day, they're going to be going to my website and they're going to see my logo. So here, I think it's more important that I get the custom tailored family vacations done. So here, so I've now just updated this. I will do this. I would do the same for the meta description. And what this is doing, you know how we always talk about how your website, you need to maintain, you need to keep your website fresh. You want to you want to make subtle changes. Maybe you update pictures or maybe you need to expand sections of your website. But just changing the meta title and meta description, because a lot of sites that has not been done, or it uses information that's already on the page that maybe doesn't really make that page highlight what that page is about when it comes to those search engine result pages. Just changing that is going to show that that page has been refreshed, and it's going to create those billboards as people are searching for different things that that page might get served up for. So your homepage doesn't always get served up. Sometimes it could be your contact page, especially when somebody, if you've got your address on your contact page and somebody's looking for a travel advisor in Decatur, Georgia, that my contact page is what might show up. So making sure that my meta title and meta description is doing the sales job of selling my business is beneficial. So again, this is a secret that SEO agencies, website agencies have employed for many, many years. It still works to this day. I guarantee you that you will see, if you change nothing else on your website, you would see within probably about 3 months, you would see a different pattern of traffic just making that change. Now, obviously change whatever you need to change on it. But that change right there makes a huge, huge difference. All right, let's see if I've got any chat over here. Um, do, 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 do. Uh, oh, let's see. Oh, so Teresa said, where do you go on sites to do the meta title? You go to pages. Oops. You go to pages, and then you click on the three dots and then edit page SEO. And there you have it. Yeah. Okay. That's Teresa. And then Ariana said, should we also add alt text to photos for SEO? Yes, you should. So if you guys have uploaded a photo anywhere, let me see if I can do that real quick. Um, let's see. Let's see. I can't remember where to change that here. Um, but when you're uploading a photo, you will have an option to put alt image text. Now, back in the day, we used to put keyword phrases in that alt image text field because from an SEO perspective, we were trying to get more keywords to signal to Google that this page was about that piece of content. Now, heard this a few years back from Google. Stop doing that. Okay? Not helpful. But what is helpful is making sure that you think about the user's experience always. And for people who are visually impaired, having an alt image text that explains what's in that photo makes it user friendly for them, and it helps Google understand what that picture is. So it does all the magic behind the scenes of connecting that image to what your page is about. But you don't want to force that into being. Like you don't want to say, like here, I've got a beautiful cave picture with moss growing over the rocks. That's what I would say this picture was. And if I knew where this was, I might include that, which that can also help if someone's looking for a specific destination. But at the end of the day, somebody who's using a screen reader it's going to say logo because my company's name's not here, and it would say home, trip inspiration, blog, contact, 5555555, right? And it would say adventure is calling, let's plan your next travel adventure, whatever the call to action is. And then it would say image of cave with moss in Costa Rica or something like that. So always, you don't want to leave that blank, or you don't want to just have it be the file name, which a lot of times when you upload a photo, it'll just be the file name. So definitely change that. And if I know I can do that when I upload a photo here. I just couldn't navigate it right there when I was fiddling around. But even the platform that we have our World Via Travel Network on, every blog, every time we upload an image, it says, where do you want this to link if someone clicks on the photo, and what is your alt image text. So think about the user and make your website, every single piece of your website sing. Okay. Now, let me just see if there are any other questions like I or screaming at me that I didn't share my screen. Let's see. Uh, all right. So we got some people just talking amongst yourselves about different uh yes. Okay. So Kianda, you said, will you still talk about the difference in landing pages and websites? Most definitely. I definitely want to talk about that. So, with landing pages, so you have your website pages. So I had when I was here, I was on my home page. These are all website pages. Okay. But a landing page has one call to action. It has one purpose in life, and that is whatever you have put that landing page up for. So you could, examples of using a landing page. You could use a landing page for allowing people to sign up for being interested in a group, or to sign up to join a special webinar you're doing with Alma Waterways to explain their wine and culinary itinerary. It's you're putting it up, you're using it in your marketing, whether it's social media or even from your website. You might have little banners that when someone clicks on it, they go to these landing pages. You could also use it in your emails, and that's why it's a part of Email Plus. So the landing page, that single focus, you can make your landing pages look like your website, and I highly recommend that. You've made your website so it's identifiable to your brand. It's something that you want people to recognize, so you want to keep it as consistent as possible. However, with a landing page, you don't want to have all of these places that someone can go. You don't want to have them, coming for clicking. If they clicked on a link for signing up to get more details about your group sailing to Alaska, you don't want them coming and landing on a landing page that then allows them to go to other places. So when you build a landing page, let me go into Email Plus. Let's see. All right. So if I go into stand by. Hmm. I am fumbling around. Sorry, guys. Stand by. I'm trying to find my tools here. It's not my emails. There it is. It's just bouncing around there. So obviously with Email Plus, I can create an email. Let's see. Uh, Group 2026. Oops. Group sailing to Alaska. Uh, this is going to be the introduction email. So I'm going to send an email out to my database that, you know what, I'm going to start from scratch. I've got loads of templates I can use, but I'm just going to briefly show how I might do this. So I'm going to use the drag and drop editor. Now, this is if you had a designer or design studio create a custom HTML coding for your email, you can use the custom HTML. That is very helpful on some of the supplier marketing pieces. They have that code for you. So you can select that and then you can just cut and paste their code into that email. But for the most part, I like to use the drag and drop editor. Um, so here it's going to take me into this editor, and it starts out with, here's a block for this. This would be a great, Robin, to your point. This is where I could drop my logo and have my logo be here. I could, it's already starting with images. Then I could also grab, if I've got a photo of Alaska or of me in Alaska, because you're going to travel with me, maybe on this group sailing. But so I can build that there, or let's see, maybe I want a button. I want that button to be right there. I don't want it to be here. I'm going to get rid of that one. And I'm not going to use all of this. I'm going to just, oops, I'm deleting the wrong ones. Not helpful, not helpful. Uh, let's see, I'm just going to get rid of these things. What am I doing? There, I can delete that whole section. Okay. So let's see, I'm gonna need some copy. I'm gonna need some, I'm gonna need a title, and I'm gonna need a paragraph there. Now, if I've already built this before, maybe I've made the background have my colors, or I've already, I've put my logo in here. I can save that as a template, so I can just quickly grab it, or I can clone the image that, or the email, an email that I had done previously, and then just make edits to the copy. The main thing I want to show here is on my email, I would write something about join my uh, 2026 Alaska cruise group, something like that. Maybe I go to Perplexity and I have it write some brilliant copy about joining me and how cool it's going to be. And then I want one place that I want to send them. If I send them to my website, they could go in a million different directions and they could be very confused. So I'm going to use this button to say, and with every email you do, make sure that your button says exactly what you want them to do. Click here to learn more about the cruise. Don't just say click here. Don't say more information about the cruise. You really have to tell people, I want you to click right here in what they're going to do. Okay. So, I've built this email. Now I'm going to, oops, I'm going to save and close it. All right. And now I'm going to go over to landing pages. So very much the same way I just created an email. And here's a basic template around bikes, right? So here I've got my, very much like an email, I've got my logo. I don't have any other places where they can navigate. They can't disappear and get lost. They are going to come here. I'm going to change that up to my logo. I'm going to put my cruise here. I'm going to put some details about it, maybe have some photos of all the different stops on the itinerary. I might have joined my email list. Maybe I've got an email list specifically for people who want to travel with me in the group. Um, so I've got that. I have a form. I could put a form in here to get people to fill out and get more information, or have me call them. Or maybe I've got a Calendly link where they can schedule time with me just for us to have a one-on-one talk about it. So this landing page I publish, it's now on the web. Eventually it will get scrolled by by Google and all the different search engines. But for the most part, I'm going to use my landing page for short-term things, those short-term marketing tactics where I need a specific action. I don't want to send them to my website so they can get lost. I want to send them, if they click on this in my email, I'm sending them right to the page for them to take action on the thing I told them about in the email. Same thing with social media posts. If I'm doing a social post about this group sailing, or even my amazing newsletter, right? I can quickly create a landing page that's tied to that social post. They can go from the social post to this. After they submit the form or do whatever the action is, I can trigger the landing page to direct them back to maybe my website. So you're creating these very, very call to action, CTA focused uh, website pages that doesn't allow them to go anywhere else. Now, I would suggest that you, wherever you put your logo, you go ahead, here's that alt text that we were just talking about. I would link it back to your main homepage because if someone gets here and maybe they don't like anything about your crummy sailing to Alaska, at least we're so in tune to clicking on logos to go to the homepage when we're on a website. If they want to maybe engage with you in a different way, then at least that's their out. They weren't interested in your Alaska offer, but they might be interested in seeing maybe what you're up to, reading your blog, or doing something else. So that is the only off ramp I would have for a landing page. So I hope that that helps. I wanted to do more with the landing pages, but we spent a lot of time on brand. So I hope that that at least gives you the difference between a website page and then a landing page and how you would use it. I would always think about your landing page as having that one focus. What is it trying to accomplish? And then also think about it not living forever. If it needed to live forever, maybe you do this Alaska cruise every year. Maybe that's in that instance, it might be worth it to do a landing page for the current year that you could use in all your promotional materials, and then also have a page, a permanent page on your website that talks about the fact that you do this every year. So that would be a way that you could take up more space on the web and still take advantage of using landing pages. So I hope that that helped. Let's see. Let's see. It's in Email Plus. Yes, I'm in Email Plus. Sorry, again, I should have listened to it. So yeah, I am in Email Plus, and that's where you can do your broadcast emails, and that's where you can do your landing pages. So if no matter where your website is built, whomever hosts it, it doesn't matter. As long as you have Email Plus, you can create your broadcast emails and you can create landing pages and you can create some really cool automations that, maybe you collect birthdays. So you could automatically send an email to people on their birthday. Or you could send emails to people who maybe there were people that interacted with this landing page that you created around Alaska, then you could automatically send emails to those people who expressed an interest in that for maybe very, very targeted marketing messages. Yeah. Let's see. Da-da. This needs a countdown. Let's see. Aaliyah said, to clarify, you can create landing pages for social media posts and not just emails. Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, that is, unless you're doing a social media post around a blog article, then I mean, in those instances, I would link from the social post to the article on your website. But for most promotional messages that have a limited lifespan, I would send them to a landing page because I mean, it's easy to make edits on your website anyway, but on a landing page, you can really hone in on what's the action I want someone to take. And I've sent 5 people over and nobody's taken that action. How can I make a couple of changes to tweak that to see if I can get a better response? So it's a more isolated experience than your whole website because the audience on your website are random people who are trying to sell you stuff, suppliers who are trying to vet you, legitimate future clients that are trying to look into you, and existing customers. So you've got a whole mixture of people visiting the website. Your landing pages, because they have that connection to an action, you don't have as many people flowing in that could influence uh, your evaluation of a web page's performance. All right, so Robin just said, sorry, I missed where you made the landing page. So when I am in Email Plus, then I go to campaigns, which is where I would go to create emails. And then it's also where I go to create landing pages. So this is the one that I just was working on. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so Robin, if you did it, if you built a website page in sites, it definitely has to be published. So you would have to pay for your site. The same thing with Squarespace or Wix, any website platform. You can't publish a website without that subscription. So here with Email Plus, you get Email Plus as a part of your membership with World Via Travel Network. So I hope that helps. Um, and yeah, so David asked, how do you get into Email Plus? Let's see. Uh, Hold on. World Via Pro. And if you go to marketing and click on Email Plus. Oh, I just realized that again, I'm in small zone. There you go. So I go to marketing and then click on Email Plus there. Then here's the page, and you just click the button to get signed up for Email Plus. Yeah, check it out. It's absolutely free for you to. It's up until you get to a larger email list, but even then, the charge very is very nominal. Let's see. Is there a way to send emails? Jessica said, is there a way to send emails without using your home address if you work from home? Yes. Yes. You only have to provide an address for the spam requirements. Um, so, well, I say that you are going to have to put an address in there. Um, that might, but I sometimes I can't remember how you do it in Email Plus if you are required to put the street address or if you can just put city, state, and zip. Let me look into that when I go to send out the field guide. Okay. So let's see. That's the home address. Yeah. All right. I'll check that out and get back to you on that. Okay. Um, Yeah, Robin said that it's not required, but yeah, let me just confirm that though, so I can give you that answer because I do feel like you could do it in different ways. All right, now time is running out. Did Maria say there needed to be a countdown on this? So I want to show you two things, and I'm going to give you the link when I send you the field guide. The first thing I wanted to show you was the Signal What You Sell Content Planner Calendar. So this is a very, very simple calendar that you can create. You can just kind of map out your content for every day of the week or one day a week, whenever you're going to create content. And what this planner is going to do is really help focus you instead of saying, oh, I just want to send out a social post about Alaska, which is fine. Go and do that. But if you can be more intentional about planning out that content, it will benefit you. You can then say, you know what, let me look back and I did get some web traffic on this post. So you can start to look at what's working, what's not. Again, that's the whole idea behind travel marketeering. Create those systems so you can turn up what's working, turn down what's not, or replace components that are not working. Um, So this is a document. This is a part of Signal What You Sell. So if you went through the course, you already got this calendar, but I'll give you a link for it to make sure you can take advantage of it. If anything, this is very much like the campaign planner I'm going to share with you. It's making you ask the questions that you should be asking. They become involuntary over time. But when you are first going after it, sometimes you do a scatter shot. You just put content all over the place. So this will help you in planning out the content, being more intentional about your content. All right, I got to check because there's lots of chat. Let's see. Let's see. Connie said, would the content planner work if you have a Mac and not Excel? Uh, yes, you could always use Google Sheets. You can open up Excel in Google Sheets. And I actually think we built this in Google Sheets originally, but then had to move to Excel. So it's a spreadsheet that just asks the question. Now, the thing that is definitely on Google Sheets, so everybody can access it. Um, and I will go ahead and drop this in. So if I was running late, at least, or running behind, at least I can give you something you guys can sink your teeth into, which I'm so excited that you guys want to sink your teeth into this stuff. This is the marketing campaign template. And I shared this. I was when I was talking about this earlier. I got to make sure I zoom in on this. When I was talking about this earlier, I let's see. All right, did I make it big enough? Okay. I was sharing with you that this is not only a tool that a spreadsheet that we've made available to you. It is what we use for all of our marketing campaign planning. And I'm going to show you why. Because uh, just like you, we have lots of different focuses, things that we're trying to market, whether it's to future members of our network or to our existing members. What are the things that we need to talk about? At any given time, we probably have 12 different things, some that apply to every member of our network, some that maybe only apply to people who have been with us for many years, and some that only apply to people who just got started with us, and everywhere in between. Maybe people that just sell Disney. Like there's all sorts of different levels there. So what I love about this document is you can start at any time. It's for the year, but you can start it in November if you wanted to. It just helps you very much like the content planner, helps you plan out and be more intentional about what you're doing. And it has helped so many people really get their head around what a campaign is and or what it could be and what it should be. Okay. So the first tab is the actual campaign planner. So you can type in, when you click on this link, it's going to say copy. It's going to give you a button to copy. You need to copy it. The reason why we did that is so you don't overwrite the template. So I forgot that. So when you click on that link, it's going to say, do you want to copy it or just have a button that says copy? You want to copy it. So you can create your own version and then save it as a copy of Worldview's marketing campaign template or name it whatever you want to, right? So here we've done an example here. Summer Sale Spectacular is the name of this campaign. We did a little brief description just to keep it straight. And then what is the objective? If you're going to do a campaign, you have to have an outcome that you're looking to reach. What is the status? This gives you some options. Is it in progress? Is it running? Is it active right now? Is it blocked? Maybe you can't get it done because you're working with Globus and maybe they're running behind in getting information to you. This is just a great way if you've got a whole calendar of different campaigns, what is done, what is running, what is canceled. Maybe next year you're going to revisit it. You're not going to do it, but you can have a real quick glance at what's going on. And this, when I work on this level, I'm really thinking about my broad strokes. What do I want to do this year or this quarter or even this month? And I just start writing down my ideas. And then I figure out who's the directly responsible individual. For most of you, it's going to be you, right? But if you have a team or maybe somebody that works in marketing, maybe maybe that's them. So whoever is going to be the directly responsible individual for that campaign, you want to note it here. Again, this is a document that we use for our entire team. So when you look down at a campaign for us, or a planner for us, you're going to see loads of people's names because different people are the directly responsible individual. Do I have a budget? Is this something where I'm going to have a media spend, where I'm going to do Facebook ads or Instagram ads? Or do I not, I'm not going to spend any money. It's just all stuff that I'm going to do on my own, which a lot of us, that's exactly what we're doing. So you want to think about that. Is there a budget? Sometimes we think about campaigns and they're so grandiose. We've got great ideas, and they are great ideas. But then you realize that there's going to be some cost associated with it. You might have to get a designer in to do something. You might have to pay for some sort of a promotional piece. So think about the budget when you're planning it out. And when is it going to start? When is it going to end? What are the goals? And then when you are done with the campaign, what were the results? Did you sell out that Alaska cruise or did you not? So you want to, this isn't just a set it up in the beginning and forget about it. You want to close the loop on it because that's a great way for you to review the year, come back and look at what worked and what didn't work. All right. So that's mapping everything out for the year. Just dump it all out. Okay. But here is the thing that I think you should pay the most attention to, and that is the individual campaign planner. Now, do you have to fill this out for every single campaign that you create? No, you don't. Should you? Yes, you should. However, it's more important to me that you go through this campaign planner and you think about the answers to all these questions. Because I guarantee you, if you do this, you're going to think about things that you might not have thought about in the more broad stroke planning of the campaign. And you might find some things uh, that you already have access to that you really didn't think about fusing into a campaign. And campaigns can be all shapes and sizes. There's not one set way to do a campaign, but this campaign planner is going to take you beyond the name, the description, the objective, the goals. Who is the target audience for this? Yes, you have your ideal client, but is there a subset of that ideal client that this campaign is trying to reach? As I said before, we have campaigns that are reaching our entire network, or they might be reaching a group that specialize in a particular product, or people who just got started with us. So that's the target audience, even though we know who our members are, right? So you wanna think, who is there a specific target audience? If you sell to couples, is this particular campaign geared towards husband, right? It could be. So you might make different choices when it comes to imagery and copy and when you send the email, all the different things, right? So who do you have a specific target for this campaign? What are your key performance indicators, your KPIs? Now, through all of these, we've put placeholder text here. So it could help you think about here, this one, I've got total sales revenue during the campaign period, conversion rate of leads generated. So that's new people to your database that actually became a customer. Website traffic. Maybe you're sending people to a website. Maybe you're not sending them to your website, but you're sending them to a landing page. Here's where you can isolate the performance of that landing page because that's a part of your KPIs, your key performance indicators. And now it gets into the story, like what's the value proposition for this particular campaign? Is there any, are there competitors that might be saying the same thing that you want to make note of? Maybe you didn't think about that. Maybe you thought, I'm just going to sell my Alaska cruise, but there's a lot of people selling an Alaska group cruise. So do you need to consider what they're doing, or are you aware of what they're doing? You think about your language, and then under the marketing channels, we put pretty much all the marketing channels that exist, but you might want to remove some of these. Or there might be one that we've excluded here. So you've got a lot of information to start with, but it's a lot to go through. But I guarantee you, if you go through it, you'll have more of an idea of what you're trying to accomplish with your campaign. So that, like I said, this is an extremely helpful tool. I have seen people who have been in marketing for years, who know about all of these things, but are approaching campaigns with just, let me work on some design assets and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do for advertising. It just doesn't feel like you're in the driver's seat when you're approaching it that way. So, I hope that that helps. I did drop it in the chat. Again, you have to hit copy to create a copy of it. It's a Google Sheets. And I'll also include this link with the links of some of the places I went to. I'll also get that answer about the street address for Email Plus. Uh, I mean, I'll walk through the things that we've gone over just to make sure that the field guide has a lot of information. But I hope you had a good time. I hope there were some aha moments. Let me pop over to the chat and see what we've got. Catherine said, "Love the template." Um, Anna said, "Wow, this individual campaign planner is so detailed that it breaks everything down. This guide is going to help us immensely. Love it, love it, love it." Okay. Um, all right. Yeah, you guys have a lot of good stuff. Let's see. Holly said, "I realize this is off topic." Sorry, Holly. But hoping someone can help. In a lot of the trainings, it was drilled into us that the wording with your agency, an independent agency associated with World via Travel Network, a Travel Leaders Network associate. Does this need to be in Email Plus emails we send to our website? No, not at all. You do not need to say that anywhere. That is not required whatsoever. What you, if, so the reason why it was probably drilled into you is you can't say that you are a Travel Leaders Associate or that you are World Via Travel Network. So if you are trying to use those brands to help you, if you're trying to leverage their clout, then you need to word it that way. But I'm going to be very honest with you. And believe me, I love my brand. I bleed clairvoyant purple, okay? I I would always show up as you. What you build with your brand I mean it would be what I'm in the business to do is to build my brand. So I don't feel like there's enough brand equity in the world around either of those brands that it would help you get more business. But I have seen where someone has used it as a trust signal to show that they are a part of a bigger organization. And that does work too. It just really depends on how strongly you feel about your brand when you're getting started. At some point, maybe you have it in the beginning and you use that exact language if you're going to use it. Um, but then over time, I don't think you need to have it. And that's me just being very honest with you. That's how I would approach that. So I hope that was helpful. Guys, I'm going to start wrapping it up. I know we've gone over a little bit. I appreciate the heck out of you. Thank you for bearing with me as I have another meltdown of not being able to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And man, I was really going hard on that SEO. I was like, meta title, meta description. And you guys are like, I can't see what you're at. I just see your face. That is not helping me. Anyway, I appreciate you. Thank you guys. Thank you for the poison emoji and all the things. That was extremely helpful. Let's see. Now I'm going to stop sharing, knowing that we're not going to go back to my screen. Oh, oh, I'm going to put my bear costume back on. Anyway, if there's anything that you felt was something you're going to take action on right away, drop it in the chat. I'd love to hit that before we say goodbye. Please, if you didn't, I know a bunch of you joined our private Facebook group. Go to Facebook. travel marketeers. Or you can just search travel marketeers and you will find us. Not travel marketeering, travel marketeers. Love for you to join there and please say hi and please share some ideas and ask some of these questions. I love Holly, I loved your question about the branding. And I'm glad that our team has focused you on that. And I would say that the reason why they have said that to you so much through all the trainings is because they get emails from our members and it says World Via Travel Network on it. And then they're like, no, 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 you can't do that. So I think that's why they do that. But ask your questions. If you're struggling with Email Plus or the landing pages, ask your questions there. Drea and Chris and Laura and myself, and maybe Erica. We're all a part of the group, so we'll either jump into the chat or we'll point you in the direction of maybe a training or something like that. Or you might tell us, hey, we got a problem. We don't tell anybody how to do this. And believe me, we have so many things that are a part of our program that yes, we can definitely miss some things. So we truly appreciate that. But I have loved seeing you guys chat with each other. You're going to email each other, you're going to help each other out because at the end of the day, I told you yesterday, I fell in love with being a part of this network because of it being a network of people who truly want to see each other be successful. Our team wants to see you be successful, but so does everybody else who's joined us live or who's watching this on demand. Everybody wants you to be successful, and there is plenty of opportunities to be successful in this business. I hope that some of this marketing guidance, branding guidance that I've given you helped you. And I look forward to the time when you guys say, I'm so past it. I already do landing pages. Now what's the next thing? I'm happy to meet you exactly where you are with that. So let me take a quick flying visit through the chat before we say goodbye. Let's see what we've got going on. Let's see. Tammy, thanks, dude. I love that. Let's see. Carrie Ann said, "Yes, this is about the language about World Via Travel Network and travel leaders. Yes, a trust signal. I use it in a few places to show that it isn't just little old me, but that I've got powerhouses standing behind me. I love it, Carrie Ann. Thank you for chiming in on that. That's exactly why people use it." Latoya, the SEO tips were great. I'll be working on that soon. Yay. Jasmine, thank you for joining. Love it, love it. Carrie Ann said, I still have so much to do. I need that a travel marketeering retreat. Okay, we'll work on it. Lori, I can always count on Lori to be thorough. Individual campaign planner, meta tag, and description for the win. I love it. Amanda, definitely we using the font joy and colormine and frontify. Yes, I love it. Robin, I can always count on you to jump in with the supporting information on something I talked about. I really appreciate you. Laura, loved it all. Thank you. I think the Marriott is kicking me out soon. Darn it. Well, at least you got some time. I got some good work done. And Laura, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your weekend, as I do with all of you. But Laura actually left her house so she could not have distractions. I'm just saying, who wins today? We all win. Laura, thank you so much for being a part of it. Holly said, thank you. As a new agent, I'm starting to get it. Well, Holly, let me just say, everybody on this call has been a new agent at some point, and some people are right now in that new agent mode. You are not alone. Everybody, it takes it takes a village to get going, and you could be in this for 12 years and still pick up something new that maybe you heard about but you didn't act on. This is the most in all the businesses that I've been in, this is the most learning intensive uh, industry I've ever been in. You're constantly, whether you're learning about changes that are happening right now, or you're learning from people who have found, success leaves clues. And when you see those agency owners and advisors who have seen success, look at them and see how you can emulate that and how you can bring that into your mix, but you are not alone. Let's see. Oh, and Connie, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being a part of it. And she is going to see us in July for one of those immersions. So I can't wait for her to see and for all of you to see where we end up with the Real Housewives inspired immersions branding. And just I let you guys know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. That you know what? I don't just sit looking at my Disney castles. We are working really hard on this marketing thing. All right, guys, I appreciate the heck out of you. Have a wonderful Sunday evening. For those of you who watched on demand, you should have been live because then you could have been fussing at me just like everybody else when I wasn't sharing my screen. We have memories to look back on. And when we do that retreat in Charleston, I'm manifesting it now. We can all have a good laugh about that. But anyway, have a wonderful Sunday. Have a wonderful week. I'm going to take a little break and then I'm going to get the recording of this up in all the places and I will get that field guide to you. And please feel free to give me feedback on the field guide. You will help us make it better. And also, if you have any questions or if there's anything, not, it doesn't have to be about marketeering, anything that you might have a question about your membership or anything you might be struggling with, don't hesitate. Email me, joshua@worldvia.com. I fortunately I have Alyssa who makes sure that I get to all my emails that are important emails, and your emails are important emails. So love to hear from you, love to help, and our entire team would love to help, as everybody on the call. So take care of yourself, and I will see you real soon. Bye now. Oh, we need a secret handshake for travel marketeers. Somebody work on that, please. All right, take care. Bye, guys.